3, 2, 1. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Very happy to have you guys back.
That was fast. That came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
I
just want to get it started.
Okay,
because if I just start
We're just
talking,
and
we're
it's
never
not
gonna
even
stop.
fair
And,
enough.
but no.
True.
So the well, what I was gonna say about the mics and shit is those ones are weird because with these ones, like you can hear that, and then you hear that, you can tell the difference. But with those, even though they're smaller, you don't have to be all up close with it. I thought you had to be, and I was worried about that with y'all's episode last night. We did fucking 5 people on one pod, so I was worried as fuck.
Yeah.
But in post, because you were on this one, and you were right there, right?
Yeah, I was right
you
here.
had the small one as well. You guys sounded exact the same as these. I maybe had to take it up like half a decibel.
Because these are the Shure SM7Bs.
Yeah.
And you have like preamps for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, sometimes it's. And this one, does this one have a preamp?
No.
Is this a 3B, right, or something?
That's the MV7.
Okay, yeah, a little different.
Yeah, that doesn't require a preamp.
Makes
and
sense.
It's funny. I've ran these through the audio thing. I don't know what the fuck you call that, but
Audio interface?
yes, that. I should know the full name
the
of
box.
things that I spend like $200 on. But
It's not cheap.
yeah, without the preamp on, they use a cloud lifter.
Cloud lifter.
Yeah, without the preamp, it sounds like shit.
Yeah.
It
It's just
sounds. Mine were blown out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Really interesting.
because these were pumping out way too much power, and it was frying out whatever the fuck goes on in there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
I see the Mogami cables. Those are good. Good cables. Good cables. I love those.
I have the Mango Cakes approval. Is
Yeah.
that the one with the gold on it?
Yeah, the gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because those ones,
I have the same ones.
I feel like those ones came with this.
Ah, nice.
So, yeah, I don't know. I know those are the good ones, and I tried. It's funny because I think those cables are running with the smaller mics.
Yeah.
So I totally fucked that up when me and David were setting this up like 5 months ago.
Mm.
But anyway, how you guys
Cable
doing?
talk.
It's good to
Good.
see you guys.
Good to see you too.
How's the performing life? How's the working musician life treating you guys?
It's so busy.
It's starting for me. I only started last July doing this, maybe June, and calendar's starting to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. It's a blessing to do this for a living.
Because y'all do your Mango Cake stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to say that like dismissively. Oh, you
Just
guys
the mango cake stuff.
You guys just do Mango Cake stuff. No.
Yeah.
So you guys perform
off
with
the side.
y'all perform with the Mango Cakes, but you also like teach music,
Yeah.
right?
You just came from lessons.
Both of us, yeah.
That's
Do you
why
guys
we
teach at the
relate.
same place?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That's sick. Where do y'all teach at?
It's a place called Rock 101.
Okay.
Ran by Kevin Herrig. Really cool guy. Also a great musician. You should have him over.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
He's OG. Like he's like around Amanda's time too. It's like started. So
Okay.
great musician. So
That's
And
he hired us.
And great business. Man.
Great situation over there. Yeah.
That's fucking cool. How long? So you've been teaching is it this July, June, or last
This.
year? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I started July. My teacher paycheck stopped coming in July, and
Well, you were a teacher?
I was a PE teacher.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You told me that.
Yeah.
You're a fucking PE teacher.
Yeah, man.
That's
Elementary,
That's crazy.
some middle school.
See, there's jobs that I know that I can't do in life, and that's one of them. Because we would only be doing weightlifting and dodgeball. That's it.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah,
for
but that's not a
certain group of kids.
that's
Half
not a
the year was
curriculum.
definitely just dodgeball for sure. Half the year was.
That's fucking. So, like, have you seen Bad Teacher with Cameron Diaz? And,
I think so.
Yeah, where her and the gym teacher just get high all the time.
Yeah.
That would be me. I'd be fucking smoking and being like, "Hey, you're gonna bench press.
Yeah.
You're too tiny. You're gonna bench press. You're too big. You're gonna peg the kid when he's not bench pressing. That's what you're gonna fucking do." And that's school today, guys.
It's funny because like if you're a PE teacher, it's almost like your stereotype is like the dumber teacher or like the less intelligent teacher.
Yeah.
But like, isn't it intelligent to get paid the same as everybody else?
Yes, dude, that is so smart.
Get paid the same as everybody else to do
And
less
play
work
games.
and play games.
Yeah.
Like it's great. It was great, but
That's fucking hilarious.
it got exhausting at some point
Yeah.
because I in my heart I'm a musician.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're not, it's a great job for sure.
Well, 'cause I feel that same because I'm very fortunate to have the job that I have, like the 9 to 5 that I have. I like it. It's easy as shit.
Nice.
And good at it, so that makes it even easier. But at the same time, I find myself sitting at my desk just zoning the fuck out and being like, I could be doing a million different things with my life right now.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
You can never have everything, huh?
Yeah. Well, because like on the one hand, you know, I obviously haven't found a way to monetize this very well.
Fair.
And then if I decide to stick with stand-up, that's going to take at least a fucking decade. I'm very happy for my sponsor. If you happen to be watching, Zane, I'm very happy to.
That's the money.
Yeah, but
It is so
Some
good.
chili money.
that's the only ad I need for that.
It is so good.
Chop Chili Co. It's
Mango
it's
cake
so
approved.
good.
It's so good.
But yeah, it does get frustrating at times knowing what I could be doing with all that time, and then just wasting away for a corporate company that at the end of the day doesn't like a single solid fuck about.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's hard.
Yeah, but it's funny though because the company that I work for, when I got hired, my boss, my corporate boss in LA, they knew that I did this.
Yeah.
So so they were like, hey, just
Yeah.
don't say the name, and we'll be okay. And I was like, all right, perfect.
Okay.
That's a good compromise.
Fair.
But the company is worth $18 billion.
You're an ant.
Yeah, $18 billion net worth. And so, and all the guys like towards the top, obviously they got a ton of like stock options and shit. So when the company goes public, like they're already talking about it apparently, where like once it goes public and the shares start to stable out, they're just going to sell all their shares and retire. And some of these guys are going to make like millions off the shares.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, if they're all splitting and they got to figure all that bullshit out, I'm just going to chill.
Yeah.
They are not going to worry. When they got to replace presidents and vice presidents, and I'm just going to chill.
Just under the radar.
Yes.
Collecting paychecks from the man. Yeah.
So I was really happy that we got to do the first episode with 5 of you guys. How cramped that was. That was fucking fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to dig a little more into like the beginnings of when the Mango Cake started, what you guys have been like having to go through. You guys have gone through a lot of roster changes.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of strong, let's call it leadership moments. We had to make hard decisions. Where did the Mango Cake start? I'm proud to announce that the podcast is now officially sponsored by the fine people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, this is some of the best chili you can get here in the state of New Mexico, and they are online as well as in stores. They can be found at Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts, John Brooks, and Lowe's Corner Market. They have 3 amazing flavors that you see here, and they also have frozen green chili that you can get online. Go on over to the website, chopchilico.com, and get yourself some amazing chili today. Because you're a founding member, right?
Both of us.
Yeah, you both are, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I got that right.
Yeah.
So how many years ago did all this start?
2019.
Okay.
End of 2019. At Monte Vista Fire Station.
Oh, shit.
There's that open jam that happens there, right? And previous to that, we were an indie pop band called Jonah and the Jets, and Jonah, good friend of ours still today, he decided to part ways with the rest of us, and so we're like, we don't have a vocalist.
How many people were there at first?
5.
5, yeah.
5 of you guys.
And then Jonah left, so
Shit.
4.
So you guys started out as a big band. Because 5 is a lot.
5's a lot.
I'd say so. Even
I know. Now we think it's small. We're all
yeah, I'd say so. I mean, even for like,
Fair enough.
especially for Albuquerque.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 4 to 5 is about average, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 to 5.
Yeah, so
3 to
I'd say
4.
3 to 4 is
3
your
to 4
average.
5's like peaking over.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know. I just have never been in a 5-piece for a long time. Like, it's always been more than 5.
It's
at
always
least.
been 25 people.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope of keys. Great. Sax, trumpet, and
But,
you
like,
go crazy with it.
Then when you get to play in a 4-piece and like someone texts the group chat like, yo, can we practice like this day? And like everyone's like, yeah, or someone says no and it only takes like 2 minutes to reschedule. That's when I'm like, oh, this is a 4-piece band, not a 10-piece band.
That's facts.
That can never fly.
Yeah, and you get paid more. You get more of the cut of the gig.
True.
Yes.
3-piece. All right, we're going home $100 each, or $200, and it's. For us, it's like $50.
I was gonna say at this point, I'd imagine like you have to talk dollars amount, obviously, but I'd imagine a lot of what you guys get paid for gigs just goes right back into the band.
So I know you've interviewed slumps and red light cameras, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
But from the get-go, we've
Oh shit.
made so much, not to like gloat, but like we've made enough to give everybody something and still put stuff in the band. So
balling out of control.
Not saying it's like crazy numbers, you know.
We're not out of, like, these days is like rougher these days because
Yeah.
everybody's feeling it. You
But
know?
that first year when we were doing like more casinos and weddings and playing multiple
I
times a
bet
week, it
weddings
was
are
a lot
good
easier to
fucking
pay
gigs.
everyone.
Yeah.
Sawmill, like, we're gonna throw out numbers so there's transparency in how we've been doing things, but like Sawmill every week was paying us $500, and
And you had like a small residency there back then, right?
yeah, so it was every week. At least there was $500 every week coming in.
How soon after Monte Vista was that? Because that was post-pandemic, right?
Yes.
The Sawmill. So we'll get there.
Let's
We'll
go
get
back.
there.
Let's go back.
Yeah, we'll
Let's
get
go back
there.
to
So
sitting in Monte Vista
Yeah.
bar, and like I had a person that I knew and at the jam that was like, this guy can sing, man. His name's Mike. It's like, Mike can sing. He's a really good singer. I was really impressed, but he didn't sing for anybody because he was a drummer. And I was like, hey Mike, like, we need a vocalist for a crew. Would you be interested in doing that? You know? And so let's meet each other at Monte Vista. And we just sat there and like talked about music and like, what kind of music do you like? And like, what did you say in that conversation? I don't...
I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty sure I was not there for that conversation.
Oh, you were too young.
Yeah,
You were
I don't
too
think I could
young.
even get
She
in
wasn't
there.
21
I
yet.
just remember going to Mike's house for the first time.
That's right. That's right.
And even then, I was like kind of sketched out, just going to
right.
a random
right.
house. I didn't know anyone really.
Makes sense. Yeah, we barely knew each other at that point. Like, we had only known each other for a month at that
how
point.
did you guys meet? Just
in
getting
that-
together with the band?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Basically.
she subbed in. She
So-
replaced somebody in that band.
So basically, I was leaving to drum corps for the summer, and I gave all my gigs to my friend who was going to be here for the summer for college,
So is that like the drum corps is like a
like a tour for
Oh,
like a
okay.
few months. So I was
For, like,
gone from
marching
like
bands.
yeah.
Okay, so
So I was gone from like May through like August, but
Oh,
my
shit.
friend Caden was in town, and he's like an amazing player. And I was like, dude, I'm in like a couple like little projects. They're not really gigging or anything yet. Like, do you want to take over like whatever I'm doing right now so that they have someone? And like, I guess over the summer like Jonah and the Jets formed.
Yeah, so I had Caden playing drums for us.
Yeah.
And then
I got back like literally the day he was leaving again. So
Yeah. So Tina came back, played some shows with us with Jonah and the Jets, and like, all right, cool. Like, this is cool. And we had a couple. Yeah, we would like work on hits and stuff like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
I remember those moments. So yeah, we had only kind of known each other for a couple of months, and then Jonah drops the bomb of like, and we were like,
Feel free to continue. I'm just gonna like check the cameras.
Yeah.
Just continue.
yeah. Jonah and Jets were like starting to pick up gigs in the
Yeah.
indie scene.
I thought we
local scene.
sounded really good too.
We sounded really good, I think. Yeah, you're right. And Jonah was like, I don't like how you play my music. It's just like, back then I was like, stupid. I'm a great musician. That's stupid, you know. But now as a person that writes music, I'm like, I can see that.
I was gonna say.
I can
so,
see
Yeah.
saying
so
that.
looking, how do you self-critique that looking back on it? Like, do you think this person was
Just
right?
We were just
I know
all
it's
young.
subjective.
Man.
I know it's
We were
subjective.
young, and then
but-
also it was like they were his songs,
Yeah,
and there was a bunch of like brains trying to
to
add
translate.
their own influence on it, but he really
Yeah.
just wanted his own sound.
Too many
which
cooks
I,
in the
yeah,
kitchen.
Yeah.
I totally respect that now.
Yeah.
like
At that time, we were young, and you know, I
it was
was
like, this is a band. We all kind of that vibe.
yeah. we're all a band, and we felt each other were equals, you know. But then Jonah perceived it as, so you're all playing my music, therefore I should have more of a say, which to me now is a fair thing.
I was gonna say I don't think
Yeah.
there's a wrong answer there.
No,
It's just a
no.
matter of
No.
perspective.
Yeah. And so we just like couldn't find an impasse. Like there was this moment in that whole conversation, man, where I had my first like leadership conversation. and this is a theme as my career with Tina and Mango Cakes has gone, like a hard conversation with a bandmate where we're like, Jonah, and I turn on a looping pedal, I play something, I play some chords on bass, and it's like this dark sounding, sad sounding progression, and it's looping. It's like background music to me talking. I was just noodling, and I'm like,
This motherfucker said his own soundtrack.
I had a
No,
soundtrack.
literally, I remember like watching this go down. Like I don't think I don't think I cared like too much about what was going on
Yeah.
because I was still so new to it. And
Yeah.
they were always fighting anyway, so I was
How
like,
old
whatever.
were you at the time watching all
Like
this?
19 or something.
Okay.
So I was
So
like
you're a
pretty,
baby.
Yeah, I didn't really.
You're trying to figure out how to walk.
I was like,
Yeah. So but Tina's young, and most of the conversation fell on me and the other guys, and
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
didn't
were
say
you
a word.
were you born in 2000?
99.
99. Damn. Okay, see, it's because I'm a dork, and I based age off of how old were you when the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out. 3 years old when Spider-Man came out.
2003.
Two.
Oh, that was my birthday gift because that came out May 3rd.
No shit.
My birthday's May 2nd.
So in my
remember that
in my
movie.
bedroom, I have a recalled Spider-Man poster from that movie because 9/11 had happened during the promo for that movie, and they made a poster where Spider-Man. It's the first teaser of it. Spider-Man's peeking out behind a building, and then, you remember how Toby had the big eyes?
Yeah.
And they're reflective.
Yeah.
And so in the reflection of the eyes, you see the
World
twin.
Trade
You see the twin towers.
So sad.
And they had to take down all the posters from the theaters.
Wow.
So it's super hard to
redo it.
find them. And there's a store in Coronado. And they were selling the bitch for $19.
Nice.
And I was like, you have no idea what you have. This is mine. anyway, so you set a soundtrack to the breakup.
To the breakup.
And you fucking we're like boop boop boop
Dude.
loop.
Yeah,
and then
loop.
you're like, listen,
And
man, we gotta have
yeah.
a conversation.
No, and as I was talking, I was improvising over the loop. I was like, hey man, like it's just really not cool that you don't want to write songs with us. Like, it's okay that we don't play your songs anymore. It was, and I wasn't even thinking of what I was doing. I just like needed to do something else because of the discomfort of that conversation. Like, I had to like.
That was
do
like your
something-
nervous tick.
Yeah, my nervous tick was like loop something and play over it and have that hard conversation, and
Yeah.
because that was my first one, and at the end of that conversation, Jonah was like, I just don't want to, and it's like, cool, then you don't have to be here, and it was sad at that time, and we didn't like each other for a while.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
did it get like real hostile, or did
I
you manage
think
to
we
keep
played
it?
one more show after that conversation.
There was an awkward one more show
Because we had one more show booked in Las Cruces, out of all
That's right.
places.
So y'all had to have a 4-hour car or a 3.5 car ride down.
He drove by himself.
Oh,
That's for sure.
shit.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah,
I
I
don't-
drove with some other guitar
I do
player.
not even remember.
And what's funny is that show was killer. Like, we killed it so hard. And it's like, Jonah, do you not see how dope this is, dude?
Oh,
Like, we could do this together, man.
Yeah,
And
it was one of those.
Is he still playing music now, or?
yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
His name's Jonah Ray, and I love him still. Like,
That's cool.
I've always respected his music writing, and like, it's still always been good to me.
I played with him at the Monsoon Showcase in May. Maybe? Yeah, May.
I was gonna play as well with that. It's like, hey, like Tina and I still want to play with you.
His
you know?
music is so good.
It's really good.
I love his songwriting.
It's called emotional maturity, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we've grown.
All right, so the breakup happens, and now there's 4 of you.
Now there's 4.
Okay.
And we're like, what the fuck do we do? And we sit there in a practice room one day and like, let's just play different kinds of music together and see what happens, And we just jammed and like, we didn't really fall into something, and so we just felt like we just need a vocalist. Like, we need somebody that can sing.
So before we get into that,
Yeah.
how many years of experience? I don't like. Were you guys classically trained before
Yeah, talk about it.
you guys before you even started with Jonah? Like, were you guys? Did you like self-taught, classically trained? What was
Yeah.
how many years of
So-
experience? I guess.
So I started like drum lessons when I was 8 years old, and I did like the whole band thing through middle school, high school, college. So literally that summer I came back from drum corps was like, I literally got back, drove to UNM, went into the dean's office, and like quit the music major stuff like immediately.
Wow.
Because like I had just toured all summer, and I was like, I cannot go back to this place. Like, I'm still gonna drum, but I'm not gonna be a music
Not for
major
this
anymore.
program.
So yes, I was like
what
playing with
clicked
like
for
the
you?
jazz orchestras. I was playing with the New Mexico Phil, like all that stuff, and I was so burnt. Like I was just burnt out of it all.
Okay, because I'd imagine. Well, what level? Because when you come back from drum corps, what level of like learning did they have you at compared to what you're performing at?
So, okay, drum corps was crazy because it was like May through August, and we're talking like 10 hours of rehearsing a day, go into competitions like almost every day, like literally like your goal is just to get better every single day, all day. But it was awesome because I was with a bunch of other kids from other states
Doing the exact same thing.
that all were like thought the same way as me for the most part. And then when I got back to New Mexico, like to UNM, I was like, I cannot like take another day around these kids. Like I should just
Screw
Around
these
these
jokers.
fucking dorks.
or even worse, honestly, some of the
Bunch of
professors
lames.
and some of the professors too. You know,
Yeah.
so
You just lost respect for what was going on.
yeah, I
That you
was
were
just-
paying big money for in school,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Because a lot of them, like a lot of the students, they don't want to be there. They might be taking it as like a filler course, or maybe there's not the same dedication level,
Or
and then
for me, it
evidently
was like,
skill level.
you have professors that are like, here, read this page out of this book. And it's like, cool, I did this. Like, how do I go get gigs and make money and do this? And it's like, oh, you're on the next page of your book. Like, how does that... Like, granted, I respect music school in the sense that it pushed me to, like, be very hardworking and, like, nothing ever... I really never quit on anything I attempt these days. And I think that's one thing I gained from it.
Yeah. That's rare. I mean, talking from a guy that dropped out 4 times from UNM, that's rare that UNM taught you a fucking work ethic.
Yeah,
No, I think UNM fucking ruined my work ethic.
Dang.
I'm being dead serious.
That sucks.
I think going to UNM ruined my work ethic.
Dang.
Yeah, because I went from 6 years of military school down in
Yeah.
Roswell.
Yeah.
Well, that's all it was. It was your day is so structured and your day is laid out and all this shit. And then I go to UNM thinking, oh, well, I've been busting my ass for 6 years. I can just keep that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, but you have to, but I'm paying for all my shit, and then I'm paying for my apartment. I'm paying for everything. So I'm like, all right, I got to have 2.5, 3 jobs, then go to school full time. And so how am I blowing off steam? Back then it was whiskey and women, and that's not a good combination.
Yeah.
And that on top of school, on top of all the other nonsense, no bueno. And then I was like, because I knew, like, did you ever do any online courses through UNM?
yeah, during
Ever?
COVID.
Yeah, they fucking suck. They are
Terrible.
like, God bless those professors, because the professors know they suck too.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the way that, because I went,
Blackboard.
like, no, I used Canvas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used Canvas. I used Blackboard in high school.
Okay.
But I used Canvas up until last fall. And man, like, I didn't drop out that time. I did complete my courses.
Yeah.
But man, like, 'cause I just matured so much. But man, fucking the online courses killed me. Because I went from kind of like you were saying, how you went from a place in drum corps where everyone's there for the same reason, you know, working hard, doing the same thing. In military school, it was fucking no, not everyone wanted to be there for like the same reasons, but at least when you went to class, the classroom sizes were legit. Like in college, if you had a 12-person class, that was a rarity. Like, you might have like a
Right.
general course that kicked it up to maybe 15 or
Yeah,
17,
yeah.
but generally it was 12 people in a class.
Right.
Super tiny. So
Yeah.
you're actually learning something.
Yeah.
Then I go to UNM where
It's
it's
huge,
like
huge.
50, 60
Yeah.
people, and I'm just saying, like, nobody knows that I'm like,
Yeah.
there was a dude in the back like actively making ramen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like yeah,
I
there's
remember that.
yeah, there was a dude in the back. It was a sociology course. We were in this like a smaller auditorium, and he would sit to the back right, and he had like the type of hot pot pitcher, you know what I mean, where it like clicks in, heats up from the bottom. So he'd plug that shit in, heat up the
Jesus
water,
Christ.
crack open. He was a Mexican dude too, so he would crack open his fucking ramen, pour in the water, pour in his fucking lemon juice, all his hot sauces and his
Nice.
spices, let it
Mix it up.
sit. And the minute he opened it and all that, and it all came out, the room would fill with this beautiful
Yeah.
aroma.
He was just trying to torture you guys.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Nice.
But it was like, okay, there's no real like order here. I don't work well in a place with no order, so I was like,
yeah.
fuck it.
It's not like military school.
yeah, I know. So I dropped the fuck out.
Fair enough.
So I get it, 110 fucking percent. So you come back, you drop out.
Well, I didn't drop out.
Or do you-
I
you-
still have like 2 degrees, but I just
Holy,
stopped. Yeah, I
you stopped
stopped
going
the
to
music thing.
you stopped going to the music side of it.
Yeah, basically.
You have 2 degrees
Yeah.
in what?
Well, okay. So one is actually music, just because I'd taken so much. By the time I dropped out,
Yeah.
they were like, "You're good."
Yeah.
And then I just like
no,
hustled.
you're actually our star student. We just wanted to keep you here to like, I don't know.
No, that's what they were devastated. They were pretty sad, but I couldn't do it. And then I also have a psychology degree that I just hustled through the last year
shit.
just to have one.
That's fucking
know.
sick.
Yeah.
But
Okay, yeah. So you.
so yes, very trained.
So you do get out of so. Well, I had a train of thought. Okay, so how many years leading up to playing music for the first time with Jonah?
8 years old to like 19 or 20. So like
over a
over
fucking
10.
decade.
Yeah, over 10.
That's
sure.
sick.
Makes
So
sense.
where did music start for you?
For me, it happened. So I'm from the Philippines, so I grew up there for 16 years.
Oh shit, you were born there.
I was born there. My childhood was in the Philippines, and so I grew up playing basketball. And in the Philippines, most boys are like, you play guitar or you play basketball. And then in high school, I got to this moment where I started liking girls, right? And then the teacher would be like, "Hey, Dominic, you play guitar. Can you play guitar with Abby so she can sing with you?" And I was like so jealous. I was like, "Dude, I want to play guitar with a girl." So I was like, "Oh man, how do I get to that point?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a guitar. Like I got to learn guitar." Well, I started learning guitar, and it was like, "This shit sucks. This is painful. Like playing all those chords hurts, you know." And my friend was like, "You know what? Dominic already plays guitar. You should play bass because you only play single notes at a time." I was like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, and I can still be in a band." It's like, "Yeah, you can still be in a band. Every band has a bass player." I was like, "Dude, yes, just one note at a time." So started from that like moment of like having a conversation, seeing your friends do it, and being self-taught for a long time, honestly, and just using YouTube to teach myself bass. And then my pastor at a church that I was attending, they were needing worship team members, and so I was like, I play bass, and
Is the Philippines predominantly Catholic?
yes, but
Okay.
my family was evangelical Christian.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm asking you a real stupid question. I don't know shit about the Philippines.
Yeah,
Native language.
it's called Tagalog, Filipino. Well, there's a lot of native languages because
Okay.
it's islands.
Okay.
So I had 2 languages growing up outside of English.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you still speak them fluently?
Yeah.
Good
I still
for
do.
you.
I speak 3 languages.
That's fucking crazy. How do you think that being able to understand multiple languages at once, how does that translate to music? Does it at all?
Man, I haven't thought about that connection, but I'm sure it plays a part. I'm sure there's science behind that. I think it's just like the ability to conceptualize things and chunk things, concepts, and like how to say things. You're saying things in music. You're saying things in different languages. I think picking up words, picking up vocabulary is easier. So I there was a summer that I just sat in front of a computer all day. And this was before social media was a big thing, so I could just literally just focus and like look at music theory and like, oh, this is how music theory works, And so got a lot of jazz theory in like a summer sitting down, and then went to that church and played bass every week at church, and so went to practice every week, rehearsed every week with a band. I was like the youngest member of the band. I started when I was 14, and so I did that for years basically, and then my classmates in high school started a band, so we started an emo band.
Hell yeah! In the Philippines?
In the Philippines,
was
dude?
it your native language?
We were singing in English, dude.
Oh,
we
fuck.
sing in English. No, we actually in the Philippines it's weird because like a lot of people look down on like native language music.
Oh wow!
So they'd rather like sing in English.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because everybody's fluent. Most people are fluent in English there.
Oh okay.
So. Yeah, that's weird. That's cringy if you sing in our language.
So were you growing up learning 2 languages at once?
3
languages. So
languages
you came right out the bat with 3. Oh shit.
Yeah. Because the islands have different languages,
Right.
And because there's trade happening, like the government had to be like, we got to speak one national language so we all understand each other.
Yeah.
So that is Tagalog. That's Filipino,
Okay.
and that's mostly what the Northerners speak. And then they teach you that in school, and so you have Filipino class, and then after you have English class.
Oh shit.
And then your native language you don't have to take classes on because everybody's just talking like that, So it's a really interesting dynamic where your native language has no education. It's just no formal education on your own native language.
Yeah.
But then you have to learn other people's languages formally.
How much of that language that you weren't getting a formal education on, how much of that is built formally and how much of it is slang?
I don't know.
Oh shit!
I don't know the
Yeah.
I don't know the sociology of it. Like I just know how to say it.
I say is like because you like a lot of Mexicans here that speak Spanish, you know, half of it, if you know Spanish, like half of it is like actual like formal Spanish, and the other half of it is like slang.
Right.
You know
I think
what I
it's
mean?
mostly for us growing up. It was definitely mostly slang.
Okay.
Like mixing English words in there even sometimes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
That's fucking interesting.
yeah.
So what was it like? Again, I don't know dick about the Philippines. And don't know
do a
shit. So what was it like socioeconomically there? Like growing up?
Yeah.
Was there like, cause like here in America, there's a gradual decline from, you know, the high 1%. You go down from like the high, like upper middle class to upper middle class,
Right.
middle class, lower middle class, and then, you know,
Yeah.
is there a huge like separation in wealth there? Is it how developed is it?
Right.
Yeah.
There's this interesting dynamic where because it's such a small country, like geographically tiny, there is still a wealth gap for sure. There's rich people that you can see they're rich and middle class and really poorest of the poor living on the streets like street children begging for food, you know. Like you see that, but because it's such a small space, they rub shoulders with you. It's like New York City. Like I lived in a city with like maybe millions of people in a tiny island, and so I was basically middle class over there, or my family was like middle class, and then we kind of got better off into upper middle class at some point. Dad got better jobs, and so I was in between. I had rich friends that had like drivers drive them to school, you know, and I had friends that live in the slums, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting dynamic because you're rubbing shoulders with everybody there.
What was that like growing up and going to school with kids that were in that such a wage gap? Were y'all conscious of that? Like, let's say like elementary to middle.
Yeah.
Was that a thing you guys recognized?
Somewhat, you know, you notice like people who are, you know, there's like this idea of like richer people are fair skinned. It's like associated with that. I have fair skin in the Philippines, so everybody assumed I was rich. They can speak English better than the locals because they went to the American schools or they had tutors or whatever.
So if you have broken English, that was a sign of poverty.
And it's a sign of miseducation. You're like, you're dumb because you can't speak English. Wow. Yeah, so there's like stigma.
That's something a lot of Americans don't really attach to, is that outside of this country, like speaking English is a bit of a luxury.
Yes.
Because a lot of people speak English, obviously.
It's survival.
But yeah, it's if you want to, like you're talking about trade a little bit earlier, like English is the language of trade these days.
Right.
And then for like
for a long time.
also you run into countries like Russia, where Putin has his translators and shit like that. But for the most part, it's all English.
Right.
So growing up, that was a sign of poverty and miseducation. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
No shit.
Because it's a skill. Yeah, it's a high skill. Like nobody is going to teach you that unless you go to the school that teaches you that well, you know.
See, and I grew like, so I am not a good student. If I don't give a fuck about what the subject is, I'm not gonna like. I'll pass the class. That does not mean I learned it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Yeah, that's just not who I am as a human.
Yeah.
So, but I remember growing up, going through English class and learning all of these things. And obviously, as a kid, I'm like, I'm never gonna need to know these intricate. I don't want to speak for a living, and then here I am.
Yeah. But you need to use words now.
I need a large vernacular, but you know, especially like back then, I remember just getting bogged down in English class in like elementary and middle, and I caught on in high school. Because I finally figured out like, oh.
This is what you're looking for.
It's what I'm looking for, but also I was like, I love reading comic books, and some of these comic books are written at a high level. I need to figure out how the fuck to read Watchmen or some shit. You know what I mean?
Intrinsic motivation.
Yes,
the
in
best
like
way
the dorkiest of ways. Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
But I remember being a little kid and just being like, okay, I don't know. This really dawned on me. Like I think in 6th grade, I was like, thank God, I'm learning English as a first language. Because if I was coming into this,
it's hard.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
It's a hard language. Yeah.
So you grow up in the Philippines. You grow up playing the bass. How old were you when you started playing bass again?
14.
14. So you're in high school. 16, middle of high school. Is that sophomore year? Junior year?
In the Philippines, we didn't have middle school. So after 6th grade, you just go straight to high school.
Oh,
so
shit.
16 is like last year of high school in there.
So when,
it was. Now they have middle school now, but it was then.
So back then, you graduated at 16.
Basically, yeah.
No shit.
I moved to the U.S. at that age, so I didn't go to senior year over there.
So I was going to ask, like, how do you like transfer credits?
It was a complicated process for sure.
Yeah. Was there I'd imagine being an immigrant, you have to take the civics test and you have to do that.
Right.
But then, like, was there a competency exam for high school coming in? Did you go straight to New Mexico?
Yeah. Oh, no, North Carolina.
Okay, at least you went to a pretty part of the country first.
Yeah. Well, it was rural North Carolina, where I was the only Asian kid in high school. So
shit.
I'm grateful for that experience. I can tell you about that too. But like,
he's like, New Mexico's beautiful, but like,
I think New Mexico's prettier. I think
it is pretty,
in my opinion.
But like, yeah, I don't know.
It's not varied.
Yeah,
like North Carolina is.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
beach, mountains, plains. Yeah,
exactly.
Cities.
Yeah, like a real city.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
but we just have big sky, and they've never seen that.
Oh,
just trees blocking the sky.
That's true.
You know?
That's very true. I spent a lot of time in Georgia.
Yeah, right.
So going to the forests of Georgia, you look up, it's like,
the highway is just like you don't know when the next turn is, right?
Yes.
It's like kind of blinding. Yeah.
Yeah. So you moved to North Carolina.
16.
You're 16, going on 17 years old. What was that transition period like?
It was exciting.
What was the experience like getting? You guys were obviously like going into upper middle class, so I imagine it's a bit easier for you to to come over. But what was that like? Did you have any play in that, like document wise, dealing with the government, dealing with all that type of shit?
The whole process, man. Yeah, that is still like very seared into my mind. Like that whole process where, my mom was a dentist in the Philippines, and my dad was like a CEO or like a executive director of a nonprofit organization. It's really good jobs. And they were like, we are living paycheck to paycheck in the Philippines, with 4 kids. And we don't want this future for our kids, basically. So my mom goes back to school, and like, what does America need but teachers, right? Either teachers or nurses. So a lot of Filipinos immigrate to the States for that reason, become teachers and nurses. So first generation families usually come that way.
Is that so when you're filling out the paperwork and you're applying to come over, do they ask you what your occupation is in your home country and what do you plan on being when you get here?
No, you have to be hired by an American school first before you even do all that.
Shit.
So like that's in conjunction with your paperwork. The stipulation of you entering is that an American school is already planning to hire you and is vouching for you.
Oh shit! So did your parents come over on a education visa?
No,
something like that.
An H-1B working visa, a work visa.
A work visa.
Yeah, and so my mom did that. My dad didn't do that. So my mom became a teacher, got her master's, got hired by an American school in North Carolina, did all the paperwork, and then as her dependents, husband and kids under 21, we were able to be filed under her. So so she comes in first 2 years, saves up money, pays for the plane tickets and the travel and like the paperwork. And all that
she
stuff.
left independently.
She had to leave us, dude. That's a common Filipino story. I didn't have a mom for 2 years, like physically, for immigration purposes. And so that's what it took to kind of like get here. And so my mom literally had to go back to school as a dentist to be a teacher.
So why North Carolina?
Because they were hiring.
Fair enough. Hey, fair enough.
Rural North Carolina, because most people don't want to work there, and there's already a shortage in and of itself. So.
And what year was this?
07, 09.
Okay, so this is the middle of the Obama administration.
Yes.
And they're trying to open up immigration. They're trying to get more people in.
Lining up.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so your mom comes in 09. You
07.
Guys, 07. You come in 09.
Yeah.
What was that like for your dad and your siblings coming over?
Yeah. So my dad got hit the hardest for sure because he went from being an executive director with minions and people working for him to working gas stations. And like American companies are not going to recognize his work in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Like my mom as a teacher would have, So it became that he became like dependent on my mom. They had their own thing, their fights already. So that was a really big strain on the marriage. Like it was hard for them.
Yeah.
And then for me, like personally, I was excited because most of my best friends had immigrated to the States.
Oh, wow.
So I had a best friend move to California. I had a best friend move to Canada in Toronto. So it's like, oh man, I get to see them again, you know? So like, this is exciting, you know? Like I get to go to the States. And I was feeling also like in my head, I was like stuck in the Philippines. So I was like, what's next for me here? Even as a 16-year-old, like I'm only like seeing the next thing, the next month, the next, you know? Yeah. In America, I feel like you can dream bigger. And for all its warts, it's true. You can dream at least, you know? In the Philippines, you're dreaming. Get out of here. You can't dream. You can't be a musician here. My dad was super against me for a long time. Like, go to school. And that was my story for a long time.
That's interesting. Is that, well, no, because in the Philippines, you're looking out in weeks or months, couple of months at a time.
Yeah.
The American mind says, well, yeah, my 5-year plan, my 10-year plan. What was that mind, when you were able to do that, what was that, your mindset shift? How did that affect you?
I think just seeing my mom pull this off. It's like, what the I remember as a kid, like my mom's like, hey Jabez, I just want to let you know that I'm going to go back to school. It's like, why? Like, you're old. It's like, I want us to go to America, you know? And I was like, okay, well, like that feels like a far-fetched idea. And for it to happen, it's like, whoa, you can actually make things happen, you know? And I still have that with me, where I can just like, if I just like sit down here and like try my best, you know, and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
There was a lot of factors that were out of our control immigrating here, and we got lucky more than other people that can't make it here. Like,
in what ways you were lucky?
Maybe like during the embassy interview, you have to interview at the embassy to get in, to get your visa like accepted. You know, so
like individually, even though you're under 21.
No, as a family.
So, as a family, okay.
So my dad and the siblings were in the same interview at the same time, and my mom had given the wrong paperwork. Apparently, like it was an expired document that was very important, and the person interviewing us could have been like, "Well, this is expired. Go back to Cebu, and figure out that document, and then apply again," which is like $5,000.
And set you back how much for how many?
Some probably another year or in a year and a half, and $5,000, which is an insane amount of money in the Philippines.
American dollars.
Yeah, American dollars.
So I was going to ask that.
That's an exaggeration. I don't know the exact numbers. But
what was the back then? Do you remember what the currency exchange was like between
50 pesos to $1?
Fuck. So literally at a 50% 50% deficit.
Yeah. So 250,000 pesos.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad is making like 20 something a month. 20,000 something pesos a month. Yeah, I don't know what. I'm just guessing. Like I've seen numbers as a kid, you know.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So but we got lucky because the guy was like, instead of rejecting us, like, let me just look it up on my computer if this document's actually expired for her, if this is just the wrong document. Looked it up, and it wasn't expired. Boom, approved.
It's just a clerical issue.
But they had every right and power to say,
if you had an asshole on the wrong day, missing their family, maybe they're hungover because they drank too much that last night. Maybe, you know, the wife is going to divorce this person, or the husband's going to divorce because they're in the Philippines and they're still in the States.
Dude, there was like through the needle. You know, it's like, whoa, we made it. And somehow we made it, you know? And so that, just to get through that whole, like, just the bridge from the Philippines to the U.S., like, it's easy for U.S. people to come to the Philippines. It's like, I just need to save money because my passport's going to let me go to the Philippines. The opposite is, like, years and years of preparation, you know? And just to see that happen, I think that was really big for me as, like, something that, like, oh, you can actually, like, and I don't want to succumb to the work hard and you'll succeed kind of thing, because sometimes you work hard and you don't succeed. But that's all you can do, you know. And so we did. So.
Well, it's an interesting paradigm because, well, yeah, you're right. There are people that work hard, and the shit doesn't work out.
Right.
They
had the wrong interviewer at the embassy.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. But if you quit, you are guaranteeing failure.
Yeah,
you are guaranteeing. No, and at the worst of it, it's failure at your own hand.
Right. sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people quit for a lot of different reasons. I feel like we were
generally
speaking.
speaking.
Generally speaking,
Yeah.
yes. We were getting interviewed, and like we could hear people crying next to us.
Oh no!
It's
sad.
brutal, dude. It was so brutal. Like, because like the husband, like I could overhear the conversation. His wife was already in the States, and he was trying to follow, and like they rejected it, you know. And I was like, that sucks for him, you know. And so, yeah, really lucky to get to be here, and so I was excited to be here. And even if it was rural North Carolina, like I got to see my mom again, you know, after 2 years.
That's awesome.
And see some family. Some family also immigrated.
See, and that's the type of shit, especially today, a lot of people need to hear. Like I'll be honest, and people that are my close friends know this about me. Like I've lost a lot of my patriotism for the country for reasons that I can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
But I still love this country. Like we have our problems.
Yeah.
We certainly have our problems, but we are still on top. And I think one of the best case studies for that is how many people, despite what we think, not even like we, despite what this extremely loud minority of America thinks is wrong with this country, or is this end all be all issue or issue like collective of issues in this country, we still have hundreds of thousands to potentially millions of people trying to get to this country every year. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is an unbridled fucking reason for that.
Yeah.
So stories like yours are the type of things that people need to hear.
Yeah.
So you get to America, you're in North Carolina. What was it like? And did you go to the school system?
Oh yeah, I went to a charter school.
Okay.
So
Before we get to that, did your money, any pesos you had, did that transfer over?
Yeah.
Did you? But it's just at the currency rate, obviously. But
so
at the embassy, did you change that over?
Yeah.
Or okay.
There's not much of a problem there.
Okay.
That stuff. Yeah.
Oh, they're willing to
They want your money.
They're willing to take that shit.
They want your money.
So you come over and you get into the school system. Are you continuing music?
Yes. So yeah, at this point, I land in rural North Carolina and very segregated still. Like the city school was like mostly white, and I landed in the mostly black high school, 90% black, and I was one of the few Asian kids in there, and definitely the only one that's not from America.
Oh shit.
And I land in band class, and all these like amazing musicians around me, like church musicians, gospel church musicians, and somehow they just did
Baptist
not have
musicians.
Yeah, somehow they just did not have a bass player. There was a drummer, keys player, horn section, huge horn section. It was like a pep band style band, huge horns, like hella horns, woodwinds, no bass player, no guitar player, and I just somehow landed there, man. And so that's another thing I'm grateful for, because I was like, whoa, I got the opportunity of a lifetime to sit with these people. Yeah. And I got my education on funk music, gospel, R&B, like all the
And you totally didn't need
jazz.
that at all, so.
Yeah, I needed it. No, actually.
Yeah, no, so sarcastic. Yeah, because the music y'all play now.
Yeah.
That's like, legit. There's your groundwork right there. That's
that was the groundwork. Yeah, I was classmates. Tina's heard this so many times, but
Oh yeah, I've heard
you
this
haven't
story.
heard this. You haven't heard this, but I was classmates with a guy that eventually got to play with Justin Bieber on keys, and is still now a producer in LA. Like that kind of talent next to me every day for 2 years was like, because they were harsh. Like they were like, your pocket is wrong. Like made fun of you.
So for people who don't know what a pocket is,
pocket is how the song feels and how it's supposed to sit. You could play the right notes, but if you're not playing it at the right time,
with the rhythm.
You don't have the pocket. And I didn't have the pocket because I'm from the freaking Philippines playing emo music, playing metalcore, you know, and land there first day of class, man. They were like, Jabez, play something in B flat. I was like, what does that mean? Like, play something in B flat. It's like, I know where B flat is, but play something? Like, what does that mean? You know?
Okay, that didn't even click. So if you're playing like metalcore, emo shit in the Philippines, you gotta be listening to American music.
Absolutely.
So what? It's like Attack, Old School of Mice and Men, Sleeping with Sirens,
As I Lay Dying.
As As I laid that
Devil Wears Prada.
Old school Chelsea Grin is in there somewhere.
No, I haven't heard that one. Yeah.
You ever heard of Chelsea Grin?
No. Like the emo stuff was like Chiodos and Bless the Fall and Xiaosin.
Dude, Bless the Fall. Bless the Fall is coming next week.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
In
they're
town?
they're doing a 10-year anniversary tour for the album. It's like I should know this. It's my
Was it with Bo or the Craig Mabbitt album?
oh, I couldn't name the members, but it's the album with fucking Open Water on it. That one.
See, that's
Hollow Bodies. That album.
See, that album is newer to me. Like
Yeah.
I listened to them like the very first EP. Like
Yeah.
that's what was new when I was playing that
Yeah.
stuff. And I stopped for a long. Yeah, when I moved to America, like I stopped listening to that stuff because my classmates were all like
Yeah.
hip hop, R&B,
Way
funk, you know?
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way different. And I liked it more as a bass player because those are bass heavy songs. You know,
Right.
I get to be featured more,
Right.
and so I liked it more.
So how much time do you spend in North Carolina until you get to New Mexico?
2 years. So finished high school there. I had to be held back to junior year again one more time.
Okay.
And then graduated senior year. And then before going to college, our visa was running out. It was about to get expired, and we had like a year left. You know,
And if it expires, they send you back.
you have to do the whole process again when it expires.
Do they send you back and then say redo it?
Yeah, they don't send you back. You send yourself back because they have to send you back, you can't come back.
Oh, fair
So you
enough.
have to come back home before it expires.
Fair enough. Okay.
So we're working on this, and the only way you can transition to a permanent residency is to say, if the school says, "Hey, this teacher, right, our employee, has a skill set that nobody else in America can do in this context in our school." That's
okay.
That's how narrow the.
Okay. What? Okay. So
That's called a sponsorship.
For
Yeah.
your mother.
Yeah,
What? Okay. So when she came over and started teaching, what was she teaching?
special education
Okay.
with a master's degree.
Fuck.
With
Okay.
like
So
hella years of experience before coming to the States.
so she's teaching the special ed classes,
yeah.
and they're like, you have to contribute a skill that no other teacher
In America. Yeah.
in America,
Yeah.
the whole country.
Like I mean, there's like, you know, it's not to the T, right? But it's like, would feasibly this person come to rural North Carolina with the expertise that they have to teach in this school with this kind of?
So they have to in
Yeah.
their
It's
like
very specific.
in their native circumference, like where they're
Yeah,
at.
like
They have to they
Right.
have to be a defined net positive,
right,
or you get sent back.
or you don't
Dude.
get sponsored.
That is fucked up.
It's crazy.
That is so because there are people on this block that are a net negative, and they should get sent somewhere. Like, I'm just being fucking real. I meet people
No,
every
for
day
real,
that
like,
I'm like, you don't
We're
contribute.
not stealing jobs. We're just nobody's doing this job.
Yeah, no, there are people that I meet every day that are fully employed, that are money making individuals that I'm like, you don't contribute. What the fuck is it? And you know what? To some people, I'm one of those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean,
So, and
it's
how
not
long
for
was
me.
your?
I don't know them.
So your mom was here for 2 years before you showed up. How long was your visa when you came?
It was a 6-year visa, I think.
6
Yeah.
years in a country,
Yeah.
and then they're
You
gonna
gotta be like
let's say you come here for 6 years and you're spotless, right? You have
Yeah.
no criminal arrests.
Yeah.
You have no
That's most people.
right. Yeah, yeah. You have no issues.
Yeah, no issues.
You are not causing
Traffic ticket at worst.
Yeah, you don't get as much of a noise complaint.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you have to make a fucking seismic impact in comparison
To
what
Yeah.
you were doing or whatever. Make
Yeah.
a seismic impact.
there's a point system. It's crazy.
Okay.
Our immigration law system. I worked in immigration law, so I've seen it. You know, it's dense.
What's the point system?
It's basically like they judge you on like you get a certain amount of points if you have a certain amount of criteria, and a certain amount of points makes you like qualified to apply for certain visas. So master's degree or higher, certain number of points. This amount of income per year, this amount of points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot like Olympic skills. You know what I'm saying? That like
I don't know if you're kidding or not.
Justin Bieber being able to sing in the United States, he's Canadian. So he needed to go through that whole system himself.
Yeah, but
And so it's like he still has to go through the paperwork, right?
Yeah.
Not him. I'm sure somebody ran it. For
Yeah,
him.
his managers and all that
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but it was probably, but he still had to go through the whole like, what are you going to contribute to the United States? It's like, oh, you have a skill that nobody else is doing. It's sing baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're creating economy, you're generating income for the United States.
Jesus Christ.
And so, and I think,
how funny was it? Just this is kind of on subject, but how funny was it when they fucking deported 21 Savage? Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that.
You didn't hear about that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. So 21 Savage
British,
is
right?
British.
Mm.
They deported his ass like 2 years ago.
What did he do? Why?
He fucked up paperwork, and they were like, "You got to fucking go back to London, boy."
And do it again.
Yeah.
Dang.
Sir 21 Savage, you got deported.
Damn. Yeah, that's rough, man. Yeah.
I don't feel bad for that guy because he's a fucking millionaire.
Yeah,
You know what
fair
I mean?
enough.
Deal
fair enough.
with
He's
it.
rich. He's
Dude,
rich.
And
He's
you
fine.
didn't,
He's fine.
and you didn't get, he didn't get sent back to a fucking, I don't know.
He got sent back to London.
Yeah, he got sent back to London. Okay, you had to eat fucking
The OG
beans for breakfast unironically.
original
Like,
Americans.
Deal
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. Yeah, the original Americans. Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
Fair enough.
so
I feel
what?
like I've been talking a lot.
So you make it back to UNM, or you make it to New Mexico. I'm assuming because of UNM, right?
Huh? Say that again.
Did you make it to New Mexico because of UNM?
No, we had to go to New Mexico because the school system in Gallup, New Mexico, was one of the few schools in the country that would sponsor, that would tell the United States, "Hey, we need teachers here." Because a lot of people don't want to teach in Gallup, right? A lot of people don't even know what Gallup is, right?
Yeah,
and there's
fair
a
enough.
teacher shortage in America, so much more so in rural, like low-income communities. And so there's like this symbiotic relationship between immigrant teachers from the Philippines usually and like Native American schools, right? And like it's so crazy the history of all that coming to a head where you have Filipino teachers that need sponsorship so that they can get their green cards, so they can get permanent residency in the United States, right? And a school system that like we need teachers that are high skill. So all these immigrant teachers that are in the East Coast, whatever, they go to the rural areas in New Mexico, Arizona, like the reservations, and they teach there for a couple of years. They get sponsored by the school system, and then they get their green cards, and then they leave, you know, and they go to whatever city they actually want to live in. So
do you guys have citizenship?
now I do. Yeah, now I do.
Shit.
But to get our green card, that's harder to get your green card, your permanent residency, than citizenship. Citizenship's easy if you're not fucking around. Like permanent residency, it's so hard to get that because you have to go through the whole thing system I just explained to you. So
Oh my god.
it's nuts, man. I lived that as a teenager, right? Like understanding deeply like the fear of like having like I've settled here. I've been in America for a couple of years. And it's like I have friends here, I have community here, I see a future here, and then to be told like it's time to go home if you don't do this, you know. So we packed our shit in North Carolina. We were like, oh, our school. And the problem in North Carolina was they said they would do it for my mom for all those years that she worked for them until the last year of our visa, and they were like, psych, we're not gonna do it for you because budget cuts. So we sold everything we had.
Yo, people suck, bro. Holy shit.
Immigrant labor exploitation.
For real.
Classic. Still happens, you know.
Okay, so you make it to Gallup eventually,
Make it to Gallup.
and you just have your eyes set on Albuquerque. It's the biggest city close to you.
Yeah, at that point, I still to get to UNM, you need to have financial aid, right? And so to get FAFSA and all that stuff, you have to get your green card first. And so we had to wait for that green card process for 2 years, maybe. So my
How old are you at this point?
I was already 18 at this
Okay.
point. So 18 to 20, I'm in like limbo in Gallup, trying to figure out what degree I should take. I was already freshman year of college, and we
Are
were
you still practicing music? Are you still playing at all?
I was playing at churches.
Okay.
Yeah. Some local bands, a local band picked me up at one point playing bass for them. Yeah. And so, yeah. So this whole 2-year hiatus in Gallup, I'd made Filipino friends there. There's a lot more Filipinos there than in North Carolina. So it's like, whoa, like I can live in my culture in America.
There's Filipinos in Gallup?
Yeah, dude. Again, like I told you, the teacher thing.
That's
Like, they need
crazy.
teachers and
It's
nurses.
just you don't think that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't ever think that.
Under the radar. Yeah, but it's such an interesting dynamic. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So I make Filipino friends, and I finally like understand American culture to navigate it better. And so like I feel like in Gallup was where I became quote unquote Americanized. Like, oh, I know how to speak English in a way that like is not formal, you know, like I understand conversational English and got to be myself more, got to go to college and like figure out fashion. Because if you don't speak English very well, like how do you talk to people?
Yeah.
Your clothes. You gotta look good, you know?
Huh.
And so I spoke with
I clearly don't give a fuck about that. So
you didn't have to learn English.
I don't give a fuck about how you've seen me at shows.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
give a fuck how I dress. I'm showing out, man. I ain't got to impress nobody. I'm not trying to get laid. No, I don't give a shit.
For me, it was just like, I just don't want to get looked down on. I gotta look good, you know? Because I'm not from here, you know?
Yeah, for real.
And so learned all about men's fashion, like suits and, you know, I would like go to class in a suit, bro, just to like do it, you know? I knew it was going to be awkward. I knew it was like weird or whatever, but I was like...
And how old were you?
I was 18.
Hell yeah.
19, 20. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Showing up in a fucking... I'm here to learn, bitch.
Pocket square, like tie,
shit.
like nice shoes. And all of this was like thrift store, you know?
Yeah.
Finds.
Fuck it.
Get a tailor to tailor it to your body. Boom.
Fuck yeah.
Money. So, yeah, that was my life
You know,
for 18 to 20.
Some of the best fashion advice that I've ever fucking heard is from fucking Tristan Tate. You know who that is?
No.
He's Andrew Tate's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's Andrew Tate's brother, and they were he was getting interviewed by a really great podcaster. His name's Patrick Bet David. He's like a he went from like an insurance company, built his own insurance company, multimillionaire, sold it, and then just went into like web media. And he runs one of the biggest fucking podcasts on YouTube now. And they're talking to this guy about fashion because that's his big thing is fashion. So they're talking to the Tate brother and they're asking like, what's your biggest fashion advice for men? And he goes, be in shape.
Yeah.
And he goes, because they're originally from London and they moved to Romania and they go all around the world, obviously. Well, not recently because they got fucking arrested, but they used to go all around the world. And he goes, I still have my tailors out in London. And I've gotten to the point financially where my tailor is the same tailor that does the royal family. But the only difference is the suits look better on me because I'm in shape. And these guys are old, fat, and, you know, worthless. Yeah. So I never heard that articulated the right way. You know, like it doesn't matter what the fuck you're wearing.
Yeah.
If you're in shape and it's your size, it's going to fucking look good on you.
I think it's like this symbiotic, like, you go lift weights, you get more confident, and then you're like, I can pull this off because I'm more confident about trying that stuff.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Know? You're the one who lost
100%.
the hell amount of weight.
I wanted to get to that eventually because I know you guys are both into fitness, but like especially you, like when did the weight loss journey begin for you? Because I've seen I saw it on TikTok, and I don't fucking use TikTok very much because I fucking hate TikTok.
Your turn to talk, Tina. I've been talking a lot. Your turn to talk.
I hate.
Interrupt.
No, you're good. This is a fun. There's no rules here. This is a podcast. You can do what the fuck you want. But no, because I started using TikTok like 6 months ago, I think, and I don't like it very much. I got to be honest. But
the algorithms are way different.
Yeah, and I don't understand one algorithm at all.
They're all different.
But so as I'm getting all the connections, like refollowed and all that stuff, I found yours and your before and after. Like you have a video that's showing that, and it's like it's a SpongeBob one. Yeah, that's how I remember it. It's the SpongeBob because the original scene is from the SpongeBob episode where he goes to the grocery store, and so I was like, I got a picture of you when you first started here. Look at you, all young and happy. Where did the years go? And it's the guy where he's like this, and he puts the picture away, and he's all fucking dragged. But with your video, it's the before and after.
Yeah.
And holy shit! So how much weight in total?
I want to say like 70 pounds.
Fuck.
Yeah. Something
when
crazy.
When did that start?
When the pandemic hit.
So it's like March, April 2020?
Yeah.
So when everyone else was staying in and just becoming one with the couch, you were like, fuck this.
Yeah. I just think I had an epiphany one night and I was like, you got to come out of this thing snatched. Like, you have to. Like,
that was weird because, like, Tina was like...
No, because he met... I think...
We were playing music together like that.
When I got back from drum corps, for some reason, that was, like, around my biggest, I feel like.
Yeah, okay.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the heaviest you were at?
I don't even know. Like, I would never even, I did not own a scale or anything.
Oh,
My
shit.
parents were not like that. Like,
When you started recording, what were you at?
I want to say, like, maybe very low 200s.
Okay.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, like, low 200s, I think.
Okay.
So, and I could have started, like, higher because, like, my scale didn't come in to like a couple weeks
Right.
into my thing. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So the lockdown happens. What were the first? Because that's the hardest when you're losing weight. Is the first like month to month and a half.
My little brother is like a foodie, but he's also one of those kids that if he doesn't eat for 2 days, he'll like drop 10 pounds and you can see his abs again. Like he's one, or opposite, like he'll put on 20 pounds like it's nothing.
Okay.
And so when COVID hit, we were both like staying up late, like making random food in the kitchen, like just having a blast. And then I just remember one night I was like, you can't do this anymore. And I remember I started like going on little walks. My family would like low-key roast me for it. They'd be like, oh, you're going on your walk again? Like it was like kind of brutal.
I
Like,
know. Hey, I
didn't believe in
fucking
you.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
No, I know families like that. I know motherfuckers like that, man.
Yeah.
All
And then
the
it wasn't
time.
like brutal because my parents like definitely loved me, but
No,
like,
but fuck.
it was
Okay,
like
I gotta say that, and no
you know?
disrespect to your family, but fuck that because
yeah.
I get it. No, I get it. Where it's because I remember doing my my first bodybuilding, well, my only bodybuilding show, my one and only. I'll never do that shit again. But
Ooh,
I remember doing my bodybuilding show. It was like, oh, you're gonna go train again for your little show. That's how it started.
or like, did you go on your walk today? Did you go
Yeah,
on your walk
and then
today?
when the
Like,
fucking veins on my fucking abs came in, they're like, "Oh, this is a thing." Like, yeah, bitch. As I'm dying of starvation, I'm like, yeah, this is a thing.
Yep.
Anyway, so you start going. It started with walks.
Yeah, I started with like some walks and then
Were you even like conscious of a diet?
oh, so I like really never knew about calories until
Okay.
I started like looking that stuff up.
Fair enough.
I was definitely probably like severely under eating during that first part because I didn't know. Like I read about like intermittent fasting, so I would like wait till after I like walked or jogged that day to eat, and then I was eating like very little, so it was probably very unhealthy.
Yeah.
But it worked. So. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you had the
Just
storage
kidding, do
to
not
make
take-
up for all that.
Yeah. So I did have obviously I did
Stored
have the
calories.
storage to.
What do you think?
burn that.
What was like in that first month or so that you're going on walks and stuff like that? You're starting out. What was a day of eating like when you were like,
I
"Hey,
wanna
I'm gonna
say-
lose weight"?
If I can really remember, so I somehow made myself terrified of carbs, like so bad to the point where I would like not even eat like a grape or like a piece of fruit.
Like any
Which
fruit.
like
yeah.
if anyone knows me now, like I
Don't do that.
literally I drive around with a bag of apples or something.
Yeah.
Like that's I just eat them all
You
day.
know what's fucking crazy about apples? So I learned about this like 3 or 4 years ago. But if you eat, obviously you'll feel it more the more healthier you are. But apples, they have an effect on your body where it opens your opens your veins a little bit more. And so
Okay.
that's why you'll see runners or you'll
Yeah.
see cardio-based athletes. They'll eat an
vasodilation.
apple like 30 minutes, 20 minutes before a workout, before
Mm-hmm.
a session or whatever, because it like dilates the veins, helps the blood flow a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I had no idea about that. I just think that's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I just eat it for the fiber.
I couldn't tell you last time I had an apple, I gotta be honest. Well, no, because
Mine was today.
the only, yeah.
Definitely today.
We have apples at church every Sunday.
Yep.
Well, because I only started eating fruit again because I'll throw like berries or something if I want to make a shake.
Yeah.
But Costco started selling this like platter where it's the 2 different types of grapes, 2 kinds of cheeses, and then strawberries in the middle. And I'll eat that. I'll snack on that a little bit, but really I'll eat that when I'm drinking. Because that's the perfect fucking drink.
That is a good
little
snack.
glass of whiskey. I
Yeah.
get a bowl, make a little ensemble, sit behind there and work on the podcast. Get a little.
Got the charcuterie
Yeah.
board out.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
hand-me-down charcuterie board. I fucking love it. And I put it into a bowl, but you know.
Yep.
Charcuterie board. I love it.
But anyway, so you guys or you started to go on walks. You're fucking terrified of carbs.
Yeah, I was
What are you
eating
eating?
like a lot of salads, a lot of chicken,
Okay,
pretty much. Like
interesting.
not drinking or anything. I've never really been a drinker, but like
Yeah, me neither.
not drinking any calories. Well, I mean,
Yeah, right, Tina. That's a recent development.
there's been a recent, not really.
Just kidding.
No booze is good
like,
for you though.
Well, I meant like no sodas, no lemonades,
That
like all
shit's
of that
the fucking-
stuff. I like
Yeah.
cut off, and I definitely wasn't like I just cut everything cold turkey,
Good for you.
which I think sometimes like people have to do.
Yeah. Why?
Because
See, that's how I do
People can't
it.
just take one bite
Same.
of a chocolate bar or one bite of a cake, or else it'll be gone. Sometimes I'm like one of those people.
That's how I
So
am
it's like
about.
I'd rather just not start.
Yeah, for fucking, I feel that's how I am about whiskey, and that's how I am about soda. Like I can't do like I'll drink like the 0 sugar, 0 calorie soda just because like I know it's chemicals. I know it's gonna still fuck with your body. Like I get that, but it's like it's less heavy.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
drinking, it's less heavy. You don't have any of that. The
You don't
high,
feel it in your veins.
the high
like, as
fruit,
much.
high fructose corn syrup. You ain't got that in there,
Yeah.
and it's like calories you don't really fucking need. I know you're still fucking up your body a little bit, but you know,
if it's not
eh.
prolonged, your
Not
body
getting-
exactly
recovers from that. Sure.
Exactly. And so, but my weakness is lemonade. I don't know why. I don't get it. Because Costco, they make their lemonade with fucking cane sugar. And they sell it, those
Fire.
bastards. They sell it in the double pack with the plastic shit that puts
Yeah.
them together so you
Yeah.
can carry them.
I guess you gotta buy both.
Yeah, no, you have to buy both. Yeah, so I buy it, and then I don't buy it anymore
Yeah.
because I will go
just too
through
much.
but those giant fucking jugs. I will go through that in a week.
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm like,
chug it.
been
You're
in the-
bored, you drink it.
It's been in the fridge. It doesn't need ice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so,
like water.
Yeah,
So good.
like fucking. So anyway,
Dude.
as this is carrying on through the pandemic, when did you start noticing? Were you measuring weight right off the bat?
Yeah, as soon as my scale came in.
Okay. How soon did you start to notice a difference, and then how soon did you start? How soon was the noticing, and then how soon was the feeling the difference of like the weight loss?
Dude, it's so hard to remember now. I'm probably like a month in. I'm
Yeah.
assuming. I do remember during the pandemic having to like I would go to like the department store by my house. It closed. I don't even remember what it was. But just because they had cheap clothes, and I would go and like buy a couple like outfits, but then I'd have to go back like a few weeks later because it was already too big and I hadn't even worn them.
Nice.
So it was definitely
fast.
It was quick.
That's
Well,
fucking
Jabez
sick.
saw me like
Yeah.
probably after a good amount of it.
It was-
like I was
yeah.
probably still a little chunky, but
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember, but I definitely noticed the difference. Like,
yeah.
because our next like band meeting was like over Zoom, and we're like talking on Zoom. It's like, oh, Tina, okay, cool. Like,
Good
you
shit.
know, that's cool. Good job. You know.
What were you doing for work? Were you working at all?
So I had a job at Olive Garden, but since it was like on and off closed, I was still in
Yeah.
school too. So
shit.
it was like on and off closed, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn. So you carry on through 2020, going into 2021, like weight loss wise. How long did it take you to stick to a regimen? Because that shit's hard. You know what I mean? Like sticking with it consistently and
so-
not, you know.
So like the walking and stuff, like eventually turned in like once gyms open. Actually, Jabez got me into a gym for the first time.
Where'd you go?
Choose.
She could not jump, bro. We were like
Bro,
doing.
I can't fucking jump. I can't
I
tell
guess
you the
it's-
last time.
Oh, fair
no.
enough. All right.
Like,
She
I played
cannot
basketball all
jump.
my life. I'm like,
It's
what?
scary.
I was like trying to like, so we just have to jump on this thing, and then we can get off. Jump and get off.
Like a
Jump and get off.
platform? Like-
and I was
Like,
like,
the little foam boxes.
yeah,
Yeah, like box-
box jumps,
like a
basically.
box jump,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's tiny box jumps. I was like, and she could not do it. I was like, why? I just could not comprehend like nobody knowing how to jump. Tina can't jump. All right. That's okay, you know. Like,
Work
you'll
on
get it. You know,
We'll
we'll
work on it.
just for now, step and like
He's all,
do a.
just jump right there. All right, now do these squats. Don't touch a weight. No, just
Yeah,
do
just
the
body
squats
weight.
next to me.
That's legit.
I was pretty nice.
Yeah, no, he was supportive.
Yeah.
Well, that's the best way to start. Like, if you're getting to the gym for the first time, and I tell this to everyone that asks, like, don't start out doing weight movements.
No.
No, start out with calisthenics.
Body weight, dude?
Body weight stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Get your body to figure out what it's like to exist under endurance.
Yeah.
And then, because that's all weight
And,
is.
yeah, that might
is
have
you're
been
adding
like,
endurance.
Right.
that might have been like the good
Or you're
thing
adding
about
resistance, rather.
Resistance.
about like the pandemic start was like, what did I have? The roads around my house and
Maybe push-ups.
maybe the carpet in my bedroom to try push-ups and planks
Yeah.
as much as I could.
Yeah.
I could plank for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
Little things like that.
Yeah.
That's legit.
I went to school for that shit. I was trying to be an athletic trainer.
Oh
Athletic training
shit,
program in the UNM, exercise science.
that's sick.
But then, look, I'm not slumps of Harvard, you know. So I just know it here.
I've said it to his face. I've said it on here. There's a few of those motherfuckers, but especially Zach. I'm gonna press that motherfucker. Man, hey man, listen, bro.
Especially Zach.
Listen, dog. Like, if he's listening right now, like, bro, I know you've said natural, but dude, I've been on the juice, bro. I get it. It's fun. I'm getting back on it, like, next week. Like, it's cool. Yeah.
I've never thought that, Zach. We're homies. I've never thought that about you ever.
No, that motherfucker's huge. Anyway,
That guy's bigger than his drum kit.
that's Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Zach's the bass
Wait,
player.
Zach's the bass player.
Oh my gosh.
No, dude,
I
Nick-
know Zach. He's the bass player.
You know,
I'm
Nick.
stupid. Yeah.
No, Nick is natural, and that's how me and him met. Was the gym. We both
no
went to
Oh,
Legion
that's
Iron.
awesome.
Oh, I went there too.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, we both went to Legion Iron, and I remember watching that guy.
Yeah.
Watching that motherfucker bench press is scary. Watching him deadlift,
I
the
bet.
gym shook. Scary. But anyway, so
I'm
you
sure that's true.
so y'all are going to choose. Was that was that like your first time in a gym?
No, I think like back in the day I would go to the YMCA, but just
Okay.
never stuck to it. Yeah.
But that was your
I
first
didn't know
time.
that was your first time at the gym because you'd lost so much
Well,
weight.
after that, after
Yeah.
the weight loss,
Yeah.
So that was your first time in the gym with like intention of like.
Well, I was like I knew I wanted to go, but I was in the mindset of like the pandemic's still out there. Like I don't want to.
It's hard working out with masks in there.
Yeah, and then you have
Fuck
to wear your
that.
mask and.
Fuck
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because I was spending some time overseas when the pandemic started.
Oh no. Yeah.
And then I literally got back from Europe. Like I was in Germany for a bit, and then I get back, and 2 days later, I guess like 2 business days, but like literally, so I get back on a Friday, weekend goes by, that following Tuesday, Trump put the travel ban on Europe,
On Europe, yeah.
and I was like, I was just there.
Damn, you would
What
have stuck.
Oh yeah, I would have
Yeah.
been stuck.
You've been German by the time you
No, for real, yeah. I would have had a lot shorter mustache. But anyway,
blonde hair.
So, and I came back and I was stuck in Texas for a little bit. But I would leave on the weekends, go to Albuquerque, come back, and it was funny watching 2 states shut down. So I would go to the gym like immediately, like because Texas they stayed open longer. So it was like I couldn't train on the weekends when I was in Albuquerque. I come back to Texas, gyms were open, and then everything shut down eventually. But then when I permanently came back to Albuquerque, Choose was the first gym that I went to.
Yeah.
And that place was fucking packed.
Dude, I had to leave because I remember you had to wake up in the morning and you had to schedule like a 1 hour time slot. And I was like, you can only,
you're right,
I was like, you can only go for an hour.
They made you schedule?
You have to
Yeah, I
schedule it,
remember that.
and you're only
Oh,
allowed in for an
shit.
hour.
I
It's
was
a
to hear
weird
that
time,
early.
man.
And
Oh my god.
I was just like, no, and I think I found a cool little one by my house that works out perfectly for me.
Snap,
but
right?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
holy fuck.
Yeah.
So you stick with the gym and you're consistently going and
Yeah.
as you're losing
I feel like
this-
for a year there, I was like mini hybrid athlete because I was going hard, like hard runs every day and hard lifts every day. But
That's awesome.
now I'm not as crazy. I'm trying to get there again, but
What's sick that you lost fucking
gets
70
tiring.
pounds. Like what looking back at how you were before, quality of life wise. I mean, it's got to be a night and day difference.
yeah, my college life was rough. So like I was just busy from like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So I didn't even have time to think about working out or I just remember eating out all day.
Yeah.
Like, again, literally no concept of a calorie. So I just thought I looked the way I did because that's just how I was. Like I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, that makes sense. And so now, but I'd imagine like, 'cause I was talking about this.
Definitely, like, because I grew up doing marching band and stuff, I wish I would have been skinny for that. That would have been way easier.
Yeah, I bet.
Been so much easier not carrying a 50-pound drum around, like sprinting across a field.
Well, I was telling a buddy of mine a couple weeks ago because he went through a big weight loss thing. I was like, dude, okay, you dropped 50 pounds right now. Imagine throwing on a 50-pound vest, exists for a week. That's gonna that's what you were
Yeah.
carrying around.
No, and I used to do that too. I have
So
my
you get
weighted
strong
vest in my
legs.
gym, and yeah, that's yep. people were like, "Dang, your legs, like, how do you get them so big?" And I was like, "Dude, I was running while I was 200 pounds.
years.
Like, what do you think?"
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Do you feel like you play like the way you play drums? Has it gotten a lot more efficient?
Like my drum teacher at the time actually said I lost quite a bit of tone after I lost that much weight. I think I've gained it back more by now.
You lost in
like
what
tone
way?
and
Yeah.
volume.
Yeah, explain that to the non-drummers, Tina. 'Cause
So like drumming is so physical that's how do I
the
explain
more weight
this?
you have, like, there's more, like...
Oh, so there was
Like-
less force behind your...
Yeah.
Okay.
So like every drummer sounds different because no one's like physically the same.
Right.
Like literally coming all the way from like your shoulders, like how you hit the drum. I'm not gonna sound like one of those 300-pound gospel drummers that just sits there and shreds. They get their sound by like flicking their wrist, so I have to be like
Yeah, but
throwing my weight down.
I would... Oh, Jesus. You haven't made that... Don't break on me, dude. I'm broke. Like, you've never made that sound before. Come on. But I would imagine, though, if you're heavier and you're having to do all those fucking movements, that you're going to get tired way quicker than you would now because you have so much more tissue. There's so much oxygen your blood has to fucking carry. I'd imagine it'd be better to be a skinny drummer than a heavy set drummer.
I think it is better.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times these guys will be like soaking wet at a show, and I'm like, I'm kind of cold.
You're chilling.
Yeah, but
You calling me heavy?
no,
Sweaty?
just-
Is that what you just
I'm a lot
said?
of these guys.
So she's definitely calling you sweaty.
Fair enough.
The jury's out on heavy, but definitely calling you sweaty.
Yeah.
Hey, at least
I
I
have a
can
sweaty
jump.
band.
I'm just kidding.
I wish I could jump. One day.
That's funny.
Okay, so as the pandemic is carrying on, you just mentioned Zoom classes, or not Zoom classes, Zoom meetings for the band.
I would also be in my gym, like while the Zoom lectures were playing, because I was that checked out of my last year of college.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember being at Choose and like the lecture would be going in the background. And I was,
I mean, at that point, it's a fucking audiobook or a podcast.
yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Fuck it. Especially if you have to see the whiteboard. And even
Yeah.
if you do at that point, fuck it.
Yeah.
But as far as the band goes, you're having Zoom band meetings.
Just to plan out, like, hey, when the next open up happens, like, what do we do? What songs do we work on individually on our own? Or like, hey, in the horizon, like, this gig's coming up, you know,
Okay.
and stuff like that. So, you know, you did what you had to do, but you did what you could do. You know, everybody was doing that, you know. But luckily, like, we hadn't had built a music career prior to that, so we didn't. It felt like our hobby was delayed. For me, it felt like hobby was delayed. Like, I still had a full-time job, you know, working from home. If that happened now, I
Was that with immigration at that point?
Yes. So
Okay.
I was in immigration law. Actually, it was the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs coordinator for the city of Albuquerque during that time.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
That sounds rough.
It was rough, man. Like, my grandmother died in the Philippines during this time, and like, I was coming out of a meeting and everybody's just like complaining about like this and that, and I was like, this is bullshit. Like, my grandma just died. Nobody knows, you know. It's like,
shit.
cried right after that meeting. It's like, fuck this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, so I burned out like around that time too, from that whole field. So,
Understandably
yeah,
so.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Fuck. Okay, so actually, you know, I just realized we didn't even like get to this point. So you guys are playing at Monte Vista
It's less music
with Jonah and all that. He splits. When does the mango cake?
Good job remembering.
Yeah.
Too.
When does
Anyways.
when does the mango cake start?
So we went over to Mike's house to play 2 songs, I remember.
Yeah.
Just a jam at his place. And I remember from that jam session, we were like, we should get some horns, we should get some keyboards. I think from there, it just kind of...
I think one song like
Right?
let's be
State
specific
Line?
about, we played the song called State Line by The Dip. Great band. And we were like, this is a band I've never heard of, you know, but Mike talked about it. It's like, yeah, I can sing like that. And then the guitar players were like, yeah, we love that music. And so we're like, okay, let's get on board with this. And then we played it and we're like, whoa, we sound great. Like, that sounded
Yeah.
great, you know, like, nope. And then we were like, wait, nobody is doing this in town. Like, we were ignorant. Like, we didn't know anybody else in town, honestly. But we're like, we felt like we could do something here. So that was like the spark almost, where like, oh, this could be something. We weren't called the Mango Cakes at that point, you know. So we were just like jamming at that point, and we liked that song, and then we like added more songs that sounded like that, kind of, and then started writing songs that kind of sounded like that, and we were like, whoa, this is dope. Like, and Mike had a beautiful set of pipes, like he could sing like soulfully, you know, and he just like carried that. Tina's a great drummer and solid, you know, rhythm section at that time. And then we started inviting people because we felt like we were solid as a crew, but like, that band has horns.
No, five because Mikey came, so
right.
Huge band already.
Yeah,
according to your standards.
Yep.
We were like, maybe for a long time we were like, we don't know any people, and then we like thought about it harder. I was like, wait, we do know musicians that we could invite, you know. And so I invited my friend who played keys. His name's Lester, and I played at churches with him. Amazing Cuban piano player. So like, come over and jam with us. And he was like, cool, I'm not doing it, you know, let's do it, you know. And
brought some horns from school.
Yeah, you had she had friends at school who were horn players, and then started playing, and then it sounded even better, right? Because now you have keys and horns.
It was exciting. I remember.
So how many people did you add at that point?
3 more.
Okay, so we're at 8.
Because we had like trumpet, trombone, and keys.
Yeah.
And
then,
technically.
And then I added a percussionist.
Yeah.
So we're 9.
Forgot his name.
Damn.
So like, early Mango Cakes was like huge.
Already,
yeah. And the only different things were like the rotation of who was doing what, like who exactly was playing what.
Because you have multifaceted musicians, I'd imagine, right?
Oh yeah, well, it was more like, oh, this person doesn't want to do it anymore. We have to replace it.
Oh,
but it was like, we can't do without that anymore. Like, we
Yeah.
had the keys player, and we can't play a gig without keys anymore. You know,
Interesting.
that was the dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who came up with the name?
I think I came up with the name. We were just throwing names around the room, and
I remember this story so differently than him.
yeah, dude, I've been telling this story a lot
He does.
from my perspective.
And I always.
You should tell me the story.
The
'cause
only thing I remember is just a
The
group
group
chat and it being called the Triple Ass Crack Mango Cakes. And then
It's
I
a
remember,
weird. It was a weird
and then
joke.
I remember going to the open mic back at Monte Vista,
Yeah.
and like someone was like, "The
That's-
Triple Ass Crack Mango Cakes," and D was like, "What?"
It's
and
like
he was
Spider-Man
like,
moment.
"The Mango Cakes." Like
No,
that's
that's-
what
What's
I
your what's
not-
your name? Get the human spider. The
That's-
human spider.
that's
So you
my-
got that
stupid.
sucks.
Yeah.
That
you
is
were the
my,
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Amazing
that's
Spider-Man.
my perspective of the name. Maybe
D
there was-
Brown did not name us.
That is
I
literally
named
my
us.
perspective.
No.
How the fuck do you come up with the triple ass crack mango?
He
Dude.
named it. He named it.
I don't know. It was just like a bunch of random
Yeah.
words and like funny
was a bunch-
sounding at that time.
They were
'Cause
also like a bunch of boys in a group chat, just like
Talking
being
some
dumb
shit.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Talking
you know,
some shit. Yeah.
And no, the Mango Cakes word came during practice. That's why that ended in a group chat. So
Oh, see, I don't recall this.
I don't think, maybe you weren't there.
Maybe not.
Because like I remember this distinctly, where we like in Mike's back room, and like Brian was coming up with names and I was coming up with names, and like, you know how it was with choosing things with those guys, like we all had
Is
to
it
be
democracy?
like all of it had to be on board. And I said this name, and everybody's like, that's not bad. Like, that's actually the first idea that didn't sound stupid, you know. And so,
What were the rejected names? Do you remember any?
dude, no.
Is it
Not at
probably
all.
for the best that you don't remember
Probably
any?
for the best. Like,
Yeah.
they were not memorable enough to
Yeah.
to land
Yeah.
for sure.
Because the mango
we
cakes
probably like
works.
threw around like Mike and the Jets.
No, I definitely considered the Jets. I think I told you
The
that.
Jets.
Like in November, though.
You're
like,
right. That's
before
true.
we added Mike or anyone.
That's true. We could have been, because we were Jonah and the Jets.
So I was
and
like,
we
why
could
don't
have
we
just
just
kept
go
the
as the
Jets.
Jets?
Okay, I can see that.
Like,
But no,
I don't
like
remember
mango
anything.
cakes in my head when I said that word, like for me, mango was like it's the biggest export from my island in the Philippines. So I just like wanted to squeeze mango in there, and like it's like I love mangoes, mango cakes. Like it doesn't make sense
No,
It's-
not at all. But it
on
works
its own, but
It
when you
works
put it together,
really
like,
well.
somebody can put meaning on it, right?
Well, and it fits your sound. I don't know why it fits your sound.
same.
Like
This is what I was like. Just kidding. No, this wasn't what I envisioned when I dropped that name because I'm a fucking genius. No, but ultimately in my head, it's like this doesn't mean anything. But if it doesn't mean anything, people can ascribe meaning to it, right? The words make sense on their own, but you can now, right,
Yeah.
You know, and now you say that. You say, oh, it makes sense to you.
Yeah, it just makes sense because like your music and your sound and your style. I don't know why mango cakes fits, but it's like that's
They're
what
the
that's,
mango cakes.
That's obviously
Yeah.
what they are. You fuck.
You
Like, why would you think any differently?
to be a successful band, you have to have a really good goddamn name.
It's so
Yeah.
funny too. Like I'll hear people tell me like
Slums a hoot. No, I'm just kidding.
people
That's a
will be
catchy
like,
name.
people tell me, "Oh, too bad so and so moved away. They would have made a great mango cake." And I'm like, "What?"
It's like-
I'm glad you have your meaning.
No,
of
that's a
it.
verb
it's
that
a
I have heard.
It's a
That is
verb. It's a
verb.
noun.
Yes.
It's
Oh, they're a mango
It's
Or
an
a noun,
adjective.
rather. Yeah,
Yeah.
noun. That is a noun that see. I suck at English, but that is a noun I have heard. Is they are a mango cake.
Yeah.
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 Or mango cake it up.
Mango
Yeah.
cake it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Caking all over the place. Yeah, shit like that. So
That's the closed
mean-
doors practice, ladies and gentlemen. When they cake it up.
cake it up. So Triple Ass Crack Mango Cakes was the group chat for sure.
So you guys come up with a name.
Yeah.
You're up to 9 people now, 10 people now.
Yeah.
Pandemic hits.
Yeah.
What did the pandemic look like for you guys?
Well, the pandemic was the very first big decision we had to make. Is that we had the first day of the pandemic was our first gig.
It was literally March 13th, like
Yeah.
that Friday the 13th
So-
that everything like shut
Yeah.
down. That they announced like the 6 cases
Yep.
was supposed to be our first little show
First Friday.
at Kilt Check, a little brewery on like San Mateo.
Yeah. And we were one of the we were one of the first few like things that had to make decisions for the health purposes of other people. Like, is it ethical for us to play a show and gather people here?
Especially back things we didn't know.
You didn't know. Like, you
don't-
saw China, it happened in other countries,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like,
I remember, I cannot find these videos for the fucking life of me, but I swear I remember in like April of 2020 I saw videos of Spain where they are putting these people were infected with COVID, but they're older, right? So like 70s, 80s, 90s. They're getting these old people and they're putting them alive into fucking body bags
damn.
and zipping them up.
Oh
I
my
am
God,
not.
that's-
Yeah, I
I
think I,
am-
remember some of those too.
I saw shit like that, and I had two
Oh my
real
God.
close friends of mine.
Jesus Christ.
They're sisters that I went to school with, and they
Yeah.
they went to like school abroad and eventually just kind of stayed in Spain, and they were in 2 different parts. One was in I can't pronounce. It was like Bilbao.
Yeah, Bilbao.
Yeah. And then the other one was in Madrid.
Okay.
And I remember talking to both of them, like, what the fuck is going on over there? Because I told them about that. I'm seeing cops roaming the fucking streets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it actually as bad, or is this like American propaganda? Like,
Yeah.
like what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm very critical of our fucking government.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, what's going on? And they're like, oh no, yeah, it's real.
It's real.
Like, we have cops going up and down the street. Like, me and my friends, we were gonna go over to another apartment because they had like 4. No, this is my friend Sam. She had 4 people living with her, so it was 5 total in an apartment.
Yeah.
And they're going to another apartment where there's like 3 people,
Yeah.
and it's very illegal at that point.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
were going over, and a cop stops and like had them all against the wall, and they were like, "Hey, like, where the fuck are you going?" And like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're going to the grocery store. Da, 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 da. We have to." And he was like, "Okay, well, curfew is in however long. You need to get there and get back."
Yeah.
And they just went and they crashed at their fucking friend's house for like 2 days, and they're like, "Fuck this," because where they were at in the way, like, I guess the way the police is set up, that community is so small that everyone knows the cops.
Yeah.
Everyone, and the cops know everyone, and it's like that very small community mindset.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna hide out."
Yeah,
Because if they find out that we could get fucking arrested for this shit.
Yeah. In the Philippines, like, it was so bad that people, like, the hospitals were so full. And,
Yeah.
like, we're already not a high-tech, medically advanced country. Like, and there's, like, tiers to the hospitals you can go to, right? If you're rich, you can go to a better hospital.
Oh, what the?
Yeah.
I mean,
everybody's...
it's like that in America. It's
Yeah.
unspoken.
It's
but
unspoken. In the Philippines, it's very obvious. Like, oh, show us your bank account before we check you in. You know, it's like that. You know, and so
You have an app for your bank account? Oh, you're top tier.
Yeah,
you have an app. Get
I mean,
the
it's on
fuck
your
in
phone.
there.
Yeah, you're like, you're not lining up for a piece of paper. Yeah.
Oh
It was so full, dude, that like people who were admitted to the hospitals had to stay in their cars, and then they would roll out the oxygen tanks next to the cars, and that's where their ventilator was. Like, or it wasn't even a ventilator; it was just oxygen until
Right.
you died, because you can't breathe anymore, and there were there were not that many ventilators.
Well,
And
and
so-
what's crazy now is that we know that ventilators were killing people.
Huh?
That's the. Do you hear about that? Yeah. So that was the big narrative at the beginning of the pandemic. Was okay. COVID is fucking up their lungs. We need to get them ventilated immediately because the lungs are shutting down. Okay. But what they were also finding, like a little too late, was that for most cases, like in that 99th percentile, if these people that were having the breathing issues of varying degrees, right? Obviously, they were the extremes, right? But if you were having breathing issues and you didn't get on a ventilator, you survived.
Huh.
You had a shitty week.
Yeah.
But you survived. But these people who immediately got on ventilators, their body became dependent on that ventilator. So when they got taken off, they died.
That fast?
Yeah.
They got dependent that fast on the
Within a week, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad. Well,
Yeah.
we didn't know what the fuck we're doing for sure. That's for sure.
Oh,
As a
no.
whole world.
Oh, no.
That's
yeah.
the entire planet, man.
Yeah, the world government's fucked that shit up quick.
Our in the Philippines too, like I remember my family telling me stories like imagine quarantine, right?
Yeah.
You can't go outside of your house. But honestly, in the United States, you could drive around anywhere you want. If you wanted to, you could go anywhere you want still.
Yeah. It was just closed or stores are closed down.
Right.
So.
You're talking about Spain having police walking around. Like if you lived in the South Valley, basically, you can't get out of the South Valley. You had to get a pass. Like one person per family had an extra pass so that if you needed to get something in the Northeast Heights, for example, you could go for your family. You could represent your family to go there. And you'd walk around with this stupid ass like tag that said that this is the pass that allowed you to go through this section of the city.
Hall pass as
in
an
your own
adult.
city.
What the fuck?
In a free country, so people it was and then they were like, oh, we found out that you're sick and you're walking around, we're gonna put you in this bus with a bunch of other sick people because you guys broke the law and hold you there. So what do you think fucking happens?
That's crazy.
Well, I was gonna say,
It's nuts, man.
Is the Philippines a democracy?
It is.
Is
It's just not well run.
I would say, is it a democracy in practice or a democracy on paper?
It's definitely on paper for sure.
On paper,
for
yeah.
sure. And it's similar, So it was brutal for all of us. And so like I guess going back to the music, like we were always like, and like this is first world problems, like we can't play our gig because the pandemic.
Well, I mean that's one thing, but then also to put in, not to cope, but like to put in perspective, the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Now, granted, you came from the Philippines, you've seen like the actual poverty, and then you have family there and friends there that are still experiencing that for sure. Yeah. But for other people, I mean, I'm not one to coddle, but also you're, if you're dealing with something and it's the worst thing you've ever gone to,
that's what you're going
through.
But
it's nothing in comparison with like maybe someone was going. Sure, but
matter.
you could know about world atrocities. You could know what your friend is going through, but
and still have a hard time.
Your only point of reference is the hardest thing you've dealt with up to that point.
Right. Fair.
Like I mean,
Fair enough.
if you grew up in a place where you were super sheltered and coddled, you're the parents that had the styrofoam on the fucking corner so you wouldn't hit your head or stub your toe. And, Lord forbid, you move into your first apartment and you stub your motherfucking toe because you don't have the styrofoam on the corners.
That's the most painful shit you've ever experienced.
That's the most painful shit. Like, you had the parents that told the teachers, no, he didn't get an F, he got an A, and slid him $100, slid him $200 and said, hey, fudge those numbers.
Yeah.
People grow up like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So that's fucking crazy for the Philippines.
It was brutal. God. It was like so normal that people just did it. Yeah. And as an American, you're like, that makes no goddamn sense, And
while we're over here with our stupidity doing what we're doing,
everybody was doing stupid shit.
Our stupidity is more quiet though. Like, don't get me wrong, we had the mass runs on toilet paper. Like when that's what blew my mind. And so again, I came that Friday before the Europe lockdowns, and then the week after that is when the March lockdown started happening. So I show up and I'm in my room and I'm like, okay, well, there's no fucking food here. So I'm going to go get some food, obviously some toilet paper, and I'll just be chilling. All right, whatever. So I go down to the grocery store. Everything's normal at that point. So I'm like, okay. And at that point, that's when I really, I've been, not athletic. Like I've gone to the gym and like worked out my whole life pretty much, but I was never serious about it until I got overseas. And so I came back. I left weighing like 170-ish. I came back weighing 198. of like mostly muscle. And so I was like, okay, I need a lot of food. So I went, I didn't give a fuck about my abs. My abs could get fucked. So I was buying fucking TV dinners, pizzas, obviously chicken and steak and rice, but a lot of shit. So I stocked up my fridge. And I was like, okay, all right, I got my stuff, got my amenities, my toilet paper. Okay, I'm chilling. All right. And then again, week and a half, 2 weeks later, the lockdowns happen. And I'm like, oh, no way. And I'm seeing like on YouTube and Instagram, I'm seeing these people make the run full of toilet papers and shit. I'm like, there's no way that's happening all over the country. I go to my local grocery store.
No,
yeah, that was crazy.
Fucking
they limited toilet paper purchases to 1 or 2.
Not until like a month after that.
Yeah, right.
Because they didn't realize they didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah.
You guys remember the cleaning aisles too? Just like
gone.
Ghost town, right.
Yeah, gone. All the cleaning supplies.
You realize how precarious this whole systems we've created have been when it's in chaos. Because honestly, we can do that again. If we all decided to buy all the steak in every grocery store in every part, like we could afford to do that as if we just gathered ourselves.
Yeah.
And then there would be a shortage of steak, right? Whatever amenity it is. Right?
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure.
Or if we all withdrew our money from the bank.
Oh, dude, that's that's what I was worried about. Because back then, I had a lot of money saved up. And I'm seeing this happen, and I'm like, fuck.
The government was worried about that for sure.
Thankfully, there wasn't a run on the banks. Yeah. I'm shocked there wasn't.
Right.
I was like, man, I should probably go put out all my money because what the fuck is going on? But then I thought, well, if I pump my money and there's a run on the banks and the dollar collapses, my shit ain't worth anything anyway. So, we'll see what happens.
Money's not going to matter if all the shit goes to shit. You know?
No, exactly. But you bring up a good point, how fragile all this is.
Yes. All social agreements are so fragile.
There's
not enough cops to enforce all the rules.
Definitely not. No, not at all. We saw that. And then it's like, well, there was a respiratory illness that went around that basically gave you the flu but removed. And the first thing people were worried about was toilet paper. Like, that shows you the priorities of Americans. Like, we can, like, obviously, like, the food went away. The cleaning supplies eventually went away. But it's like, no matter what happens, I need to shit comfortably. Like, I cannot walk around with mud butt.
For real.
Fucking,
I can't use the shower to clean myself up. Like,
it's going to turn to chemical warfare real fucking quick.
If I don't get my toilet paper. For real, dude.
So, no, that's just fucking, it's crazy to me looking back at that, how quickly everything fell apart. But, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to put it in perspective as well, like to be able to go through that pandemic in your 20s as opposed to being in your 80s.
Yeah.
That like it just hit you at the end of your life. Like you're most likely going to be screwed.
Yeah.
You know? And we had like enough health to be like, I got COVID twice, and it was miserable, but I was like, didn't need to go to the hospital. Right.
Yeah. I got COVID the first time during Thanksgiving of 2020.
I think we all got COVID at the same time.
Yeah, we all had COVID. I didn't have any symptoms, but I was positive.
Dude, I lost my sense of taste. That was my first one.
For sure.
Because I remember, I'll never forget this. I was playing video games. So I used to have a condo up in the Heights, and I had retrofitted the garage to be the first podcast studio. Oh. And so I was down there, and I started to feel a little sick. So I told my girlfriend at the time, I was like, hey, like, you got immunocompromised grandparents and your aunt, I should hang out by myself for a couple of days, make sure I don't have COVID or whatever. And so it was just me. I'm hanging out in my garage, and it was this table, and I had set it up to my gaming. I'd have my gaming set up, and then it was podcast time. So back then I was doing like a podcast once every 2 weeks or some shit. So I was like, okay, break the shit down, set up my gaming, whatever. So I'm playing video games, got my dip in, having a good time, normal Friday night. All right. And I'm on chat with my buddies, and I'm like, hey, guys, I've had, like, a cough, but, like, I can't taste my dip anymore. And they're like, yo, you have COVID, dude. I'm like, no, I don't. No. The dip just ran out. Whatever. Yeah. So I had it in for, like, 30, 40 minutes. So I threw out my lip. I threw a new one in. It literally tasted like I had mud. Like, it had no taste. It was just hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I went upstairs. I grabbed a Monster, like a green Monster. Cracked it open. The Monster tasted like fucking seltzer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it tasted like like a club soda.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way.
Yeah.
what the fuck? And so then that happened. And yeah, I was down for like 2 days of
2
like
days.
body aches.
Yeah.
And like
the chills.
And like the chills. I had a bad headache for like 12 hours.
But, yeah.
Like a excruciating headache.
For sure.
But other than that,
Yeah.
like it wasn't bad. Like
You
I was symptomatic for maybe like I had the sweats really bad in the beginning. In the beginning, and that's what made me call out of work for the first time. Is at the time I was working at a flooring company, and I worked in their warehouse. Oh yeah, go ahead. So I was working at a flooring company, driving a forklift, and I remember working that forklift, and like by 4 PM, I was driving just like, oh fuck, so I would get a little nauseous.
So you still at work?
Yeah. And this was the first day of being symptomatic.
Yeah.
And I'd had the sweats, so I'm like, oh fuck, what is going on? Oh my god! So we got off work that day, and I called in the next, and it was a Friday that I called out, and I was like, all right, yeah, I think I'm sick. And then that Friday night is when I had my taste go away. By Monday, I had I started having like more like headache symptoms, and I was symptomatic for a while. And then on Thanksgiving, I started feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then I had more of an appetite, thankfully. And my God bless her, but like my girlfriend and her family, they made me like they got like these like styrofoams, or not styrofoam, but like the cooking material that's like sheet metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not sheet metal, but it has the same consistency and sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they had made me like a plate in that, so I could drive. Thankfully, so I just drove. They left it on the fucking curb. So I got it and went back.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I had my taste by then, thankfully, so I could eat. But then I got really sick again through that weekend, and I was good by Monday. But it wasn't like debilitating. And the second time I got COVID was fucking nothing. It was literally like,
I don't remember if I had it twice or
Yeah.
once. But I do know the time I did get a positive test. I didn't have any symptoms.
well, and back then that's what fucked people up financially because they I don't know how it was for you guys at your jobs, but for me it was if you tested positive, no matter what, you had to take 14 days off.
Right. It was 2 weeks. Yeah.
And so nobody really knew en masse anyway. At the time, if you got COVID, you were going to test positive for 3 to 5 months afterwards, regardless of your actual infection.
It's true.
So I fell into that where like the office space I was working at the time, because I had moved out of that job and went to a caregiving job, and I was in management. And so one of the managers got COVID. We all got tested. I fucking tested positive. And then it was like, well, shit. Like, what the fuck am I going to do about this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sick, but why the fuck am I positive?
That was
and then
tricky.
it came out later. So when you guys were having your Zoom meetings as a band, what was the coordination like? What was like? I imagine you're going through a lot of growing pains. Like trying to figure out how to run a band remotely.
Yeah. I think we just had one Zoom meeting where we were like, cool, this is the current state that we're at. Just get better at your instrument. Like, I think we had that conversation.
How many members do you have at the time?
And that meeting had like the core of 5 of us, I think.
Okay.
Right?
I think I might remember the horns in there.
Maybe the horns were there.
Maybe the horns too.
So maybe like not everybody, but most of us.
So for a frame of reference, who are the core 5?
At that time, it was me, Tina, Mike, and then Brian and Austin, who are guitar players.
Okay.
And they're from the Jonah and the Jets too.
Okay. And then of the 5, who's still there now?
Just us 2.
No shit. Yeah. Okay. So pandemic happens, things open up at about in New Mexico, they didn't open up really till like 2021. Right. We were locked down for like a year, almost a year and a half. Like we had some of the
openings, there were medium remember those?
Yeah.
30% capacity.
The capacity shit.
Capacity
but
thing.
like and that's what, and I don't mean to get too political about it, but like we had like I fucking hate our governor. Like I do not like Grisham at all. I do not like that lady.
I've played for her in her mansion.
Fuck that bitch,
wedding.
bro. Fuck, like I'm not that guy.
I'm ambivalent.
Yeah, like I'm not that guy that says eat the rich. I'll never be that guy. Cuz I still believe in capitalism. But like on the other hand, I'm like, yo, if you're telling us to lock down and you're going to spend state money on fucking Wagyu beef and throw parties, I'm not going to eat you.
That's kind of
I'm not going to eat you, but like your toe looking kind of nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to slice that bitch off. You know what I mean? I'm going to throw off your balance.
This hypocrisy, of course. You're right.
Because like I still would love to like I can't say who, but I'm working on booking a New Mexico politician on this. I'm working on it.
Nice.
Like we're in coordination right now.
Okay.
But like I would love,
I would for sure.
But I would love to sit down with her.
Oh, okay.
No, I would. Cause I have no like.
You'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, for real. And
yeah.
I have no real like malice to sit her down and be like, fuck you.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But I do want to be like, hey man, like you really like explain to me what was your mindset in doing these things? Because you fucked a lot of people over. And you see how this looks, right? Even if you didn't mean to be a hypocrite, you see how this looks, right?
Yeah.
I want to have that conversation
Right.
with a politician.
Right.
But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
sure.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so
they're not in the mango cakes.
so yeah, so we had in relative to the actual infection numbers, we had some of the harshest fucking lockdowns in the nation.
You're right.
So we had like the 30% capacity, 50% capacity, up until like May of 21 or so.
Yeah.
Because that summer
Yes.
is when it started to let up a bit.
I remember May letting up a little bit more.
Okay.
And then the South was definitely like more open than the North, or like us.
Yeah.
Around like February or even then. So yeah. In those openings where they would have the capacity outdoor thing, we would get booked for gigs.
Nice.
And we would practice for those gigs.
Is that where your Sawmill residency started?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because the gigs would get canceled because then it would close again.
Oh, we did go through that period
Yeah.
of like the
Yeah.
open and then
closed,
closed,
Yep.
open and closed. Yeah. And every
for
time
real.
somehow we just like landed on the date that would get closed on us.
That's ugh.
It was just frustrating. And during that time, I think we were practicing for this show. So speaking of pandemic and coordination and changes, like we were practicing pretty much regularly at this point. Like open garage with my
as long as the
space.
cases weren't like crazy.
Yeah, we were making
People
those
were-
decisions.
yeah.
You know? And there was a point where we like fell out of touch with our guitar players because they didn't like the music we were trying to play, like Bruno Mars and pop stuff, and they wanted to play more bluesy stuff because they're guitar players, you know. And came to a head, like I had a couple fights about it, you know, and like.
So for people before you continue, for people that only like just they know of the music, but they don't have that like intimate knowledge like you do.
Sure.
In the guitar player's eyes, what would turn them away from the more poppy things you're playing, and then what they wanted to play?
In pop music, guitar definitely has less of a prominent role.
Yeah.
Like you're supporting the rhythm section.
Yeah.
But you're not playing like blazing licks and solos all day, and you know you're not always featured. The vocalist is featured.
Right.
The groove is featured. You know, I think that was a big. And then the technical skills actually necessary to play pop music is actually higher than people think, because you can't just be playing big chords, like all these notes, when I'm already covering this note and the piano player is covering this note. And you know, so now you're whittled down to these two ching, ching, to fit the spectrum of sound that's happening.
And so is that why you see like what comes to mind for me is when I first started playing guitar, I would play like I was super into Maroon 5 at the time.
Yeah.
So in Maroon 5 it's down to your like your 12th to your 17th fret.
Yeah, or
so
high up the strings.
Yeah, so like real down here, shit like that.
Yeah. You're playing around what's already happening sonically.
Right.
In blues, you can play whatever the hell you want. So like that's one factor. Like rock and like that's one of the bigger differences I think with this genre. Guitar is. It's not that it's not prominent, and it can have its shining moments. And people actually,
typically the range of what you're having to do with what you guys wanted to play, it's not as predominant to what they were going to play.
Yeah, or what they're used to.
What they're used to.
Yeah,
Right.
And so practices became like really cold. Like they hated me personally. They hated me because at the time there was no like we all founded the band together, right? But somebody still had to be like the voice and say this is the direction.
You know what that laugh told me? That told me they were messaging Tina on the side. Hey, fuck
No,
no.
both of them.
absolutely.
Everyone
Absolutely.
was.
Oh no shit.
I was hated
Or,
for like the first.
Or
Like,
Yeah.
fuck Jabez,
I remember
man.
there's one practice I remember where Jabez was like, Brian's not playing the notes. Can you speak up? And I was like,
Yeah, she
that,
was.
I was
he
all,
was-
that doesn't really sound right, Brian. And
Because
I'm a
if
drummer.
you said something, it would fall on deaf ears. But if you say something,
Right.
That name. Why did I say that? So we should mute that. Why
who
did
gives
I say
a
that?
fuck?
You're right.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
We're having fun. Who
They
cares?
see our names on the podcast. They're not listening to this.
True.
Damn, it's that bad, huh?
It was very
It was
bad.
a bad breakup.
It was a bad breakup.
It
And
was.
it was one of our major like trauma points as a band. We're like, dang, that was really spicy. Like that was a very like heated like conversation, like heated like fight, like basically. And it came to a head at practice where this motherfucker yelled at me at practice. And I was like, the fuck you yelling at me for? You know, like I wrote this song. I know how the guitar goes. And I said, hey man, like I think that's not the right chord. I wrote the song. And I said it in the nicest way I could. Like, hey, it's an E flat 9, not that shape, you know. I've been playing this fucking song for months. I've been playing like this. Da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, it's gonna be like that, and then
well, that's not the issue of the situation. That's a built up.
That's boiled.
Yeah, that's
it was boiled
up.
in,
Yeah, and then this guy like messages me after practice and says like, okay, like if you sit down with me and like teach me the guitar parts to this song, I'll sit down with you. It's like, no, fucker. Like you yelled at me at practice. Now you're gonna ask me for help.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put up with that shit. You know, I like, you know.
I'd imagine if it was a one-off thing where he's traditionally fine, it's like, hey, what's going on? Like, why are you acting like that? But if it's built up animosity that's tangible, I'd imagine a part of you was probably waiting for that.
Yeah.
It's like, when's the explosion moment gonna happen?
I felt it coming too. Like, this guy's mad at me. And then he was tight with the other guitar player, so they were both mad at me. And my frustration at that time was like, you know I'm right. Why is nobody fucking standing up for me? You know? Why is nobody saying anything, you know?
There was one song, I don't remember which one, where I was like, okay, I'm the drummer, dude, but I know that's not
That's
right.
right.
Like, that was
Wrong
the only
chords.
one, because I couldn't tell
fair
for
enough,
the most
you didn't.
part.
Yeah.
But I do remember it was like the Al Green
Yeah.
song or something,
Right.
and I was like,
Y'all are playing
I
some
don't think
Al
this
Green?
is right.
The like Let's Stay Together.
Let's Stay Together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
And they
trombone
were
thing?
trying the piano thing on the guitar or something, and even
No,
I
they
was
were just like playing like really
I couldn't
weird
tell-
parts
yeah.
over it, and I was like, "Hey guys, like, did you learn the song? Like, that's not how the song goes, basically."
Damn.
Because I was never a dick when I addressed things. Like, I was never,
yeah.
you fucking losers, learn your fucking
Right.
parts. You know, I never speak to anybody like that.
You're professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept it. Even if you hated me, we're all still trying to do this thing together. So I don't have to be your best friend.
But that's not gonna last.
not.
Obviously.
True.
But like,
Right,
look, I've never
absolutely.
been in a fucking band, but I would imagine
Any social situation
yeah,
that you're
you
doing something
need
together.
You need to have more than
Professional
professional capacity with each other. You need to like fuck with each other hard.
in
Like,
a
you
creative
need to be
situation.
friends.
Absolutely, there needs to be mutual respect in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, there needs to be mutual love there.
Right.
Like more than respect. There are people that I respect that I do not like.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Fair.
I
You
don't-
couldn't work with people. Some people you respect. Yeah,
but I
can see
know I don't think there's anyone that I love that I don't respect.
that. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you need that for a creative endeavor, especially for a fucking band. And again, when you guys start going on your fucking world tours and shit, come on now. You gotta love those fuckers you're finding PJs with and you're staying in hotels.
Because that's brutal. Like you're spending
yeah.
the same all day long.
Yeah.
Doing hard things together. You gotta like these people for sure.
Yeah.
And I knew, and like it went to a head, and we basically like had this conversation over text. Where like, hey man, this 3 things are gonna happen. 1, like you practice your instrument and get better. 2, like I leave the band. And like whatever, or like if you don't do that, you leave the band, right?
Leaving was on the table.
Yeah, I put myself like I'm gonna leave the band, or you're gonna leave the band, or you get better, and we work together better. Those were the 3 options. And he said, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm willing to change anything. So I don't know what to tell you.
Ooh.
And he was the founder of the band, so he felt like he had a lot to say in like who should stay in the band, which is fair, right? Like he founded the band too. So I like had a conversation with Tina and Mike, and like it's like, dude, this guy is really just fighting me over this. Like, do you think I'm wrong? Right? And I wasn't wrong.
Was that hard for you to be objective and be like, hey, like?
So for me, it was hard because I did hang out with those guitarists a bit.
Yeah.
I did see his like flaws, so I wasn't like totally turned turn like up over it, but
Yeah.
like the biggest thing for me was I didn't want to play blues or rock music.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
We
And
were on
I-
the same
and I
page
knew-
musically.
And I knew
Yeah.
Jabez was a good musician, so I was like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
you know?
You just betrayed your friends for good music.
Yeah,
Just
I cared,
Fuck
dude. I cared about the
off.
music. I was like, we can still be homies outside.
That
if
is
they
true.
forgive me.
That was
And-
your stance.
And if
Yeah.
they don't, like,
Yeah.
if they aren't my friends after, oh well. Like,
Yeah.
And they were there for
I-
ulterior reasons.
I just want to be in a band that I love. Like, that was
Yeah.
literally
Right.
what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you, me, and Mike had the same musical taste.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be democratic when we would create set lists. We'd be like, let's put a
No,
playlist together.
We would try to pick from both genres, and I remember I was
and
like,
vote. We'd vote
had
over
to
songs.
vote.
We're like, all right, like, do you want the song to be on the set list? And I could see their faces like fuming that I was trying to do it democratically. And
because there was three of us. That
three of us
liked
like the same songs. It's just naturally gonna be the case. Like that's how bands happen. It's the taste has to be the same.
Well, it was a bad mold. It was a bad mesh.
Yeah.
Bad
long,
mesh. And
long term.
I think
Yeah.
the indie, because we started as an indie band of just ragtag people. Oh, you play guitar, I play bass, blah, blah, blah. We didn't really address our tastes at that time. And then when the Mango Cakes thing started, we're like, whoa, we get to make decisions like this. Jonah's not here anymore. Like, we're making decisions for this band. What do we want to play? And you, Mike, and I are like, wow, we love this stuff. You know?
Yeah.
And like, they were like not thrilled about Bruno Mars. They were not thrilled about Al Green.
Yeah.
They're not thrilled about this. And I wasn't super thrilled about their picks either.
No,
So
I was not either.
yeah,
I
so
was
like why can you just do your own thing, you know? But
Yeah.
it just had to boiled into a situation, and my fault was not addressing it sooner.
Yeah.
Like I can look at that and be like, hey man, like, cause we were friends. Like I was friends with those guys, you know, and I wasn't mature enough to be like, I can feel that you hate me. Like let's sit down and talk about this and figure out if we can figure it out. If not, then we don't.
Well, that's a human problem. You know,
Yeah.
how many like romantic relationships have you been in where it's like, I know you don't like me right now, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of feeling the same way too,
Yeah.
but I don't want to say it
Yeah.
because the sex is that good. Like, I am not trying to fucking do this right now. So you're
That's
almost like
fair.
performing with these guys
Yeah,
where it's like,
yeah.
I know you don't like me, and fucking, I don't like you that
Dude,
much,
I
but
remember I told-
performing is
I feel like
so
the
much
sex is better
fun.
after you have that conversation. We're like, we really do like each other, and then I'm gushy and mushy like that. But I'm sorry.
I just remember telling Brian and Austin, I was like, dude, it's not working. Why are we forcing a music band to work?
Yeah,
Like, why are we
Yeah.
forcing this?
because I think
Yeah.
because it had been going already. and it's
Yeah.
like hard to start again, you know. And yeah, so and so us three decided like, okay, the decision is to part ways with them.
Yeah.
We need to have a conversation with them in person. Let's plan this out. Let's have a conversation, sit down. Like, hey, us three, we're on the same page. You two are not, you know.
Yeah.
And talk to them individually, and like, we need to part ways. And so we plan to meet at Sawmill.
Stupidest
Ironically,
thing.
at Sawmill, so we're like, let's schedule him at 3
in
o'clock,
in a public place with witnesses.
Yes.
neutral place, you know, nobody's house. Meet them at 3 and then meet the next one at 4. And there's just like such
Dumbest idea
It was
in
not
the
a great
world.
idea, you know. It wasn't a great idea. And my other
I can tell you
idea,
that.
Like, they're
Just
best
hear-
friends. Why would one agree to come at 3 and the other
Yeah,
at 4 without?
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah,
but
it was
yeah,
dumb. It was
not a
dumb.
good idea.
and it got dumber. Okay, so
it gets worse.
it got dumber because I just knew that after we kicked them out, that they would fuck with our socials. In my head, and like I felt like there was just gonna be like ulterior motives, like just
Still the
bitterness.
Instagram, still
Like,
this, still
like
the
change the
Facebook.
password on Instagram, change the password on Facebook. We had some followers already from our practice videos, and like I was like, we need to change those passwords and take them off admin before we have this conversation. Well, I didn't fucking think that it would notify them before the meeting. And so he
morning
finds
of.
out like that Sunday morning, and he just explodes on all of us. You know, it's like, oh my God, I fucked up. Like I took responsibility for that. That wasn't smart. Like that we should, you know, I don't know what would have been the right answer. Like
you should have had it.
I guess it
You-
was
you-
like as the meeting's happening.
I was literally
Change
gonna
the
say, and you've got
password,
Tina
yeah.
in the back. It's already pre-coded,
Bro.
Hey, we need to split ways. And Tina goes, boop, we're done.
Imagine, dude, like as soon as you get off the meeting, you see the notification, you're off admin, like right after, like I don't know, like, and he was rightly incensed that like we didn't talk to him about that decision. We had planned to talk about him to him in person. So of course they didn't want to meet in person anymore after that notification.
Yeah,
and it just fell apart really bad. And so I learned a huge lesson as a leader, like in that time, like, oh, that's not how you fire someone. Like that's not how you should do
that's
that.
an important lesson to learn.
Yeah, that's not how you do it. They deserve better than that. Like I looking back, I could say that. And no matter how bad they treated me, like I apologize, you know. So it wasn't right, but at the end of the day, we were gonna let go of them.
Yeah.
Regardless, they were the ceiling, and that same day we that same Sunday afternoon we auditioned Hugo, our current guitar player.
Nice.
And I'd known Hugo since my church worship days.
Damn, y'all broke up. You already had the rebound in place.
Yeah, basically.
We already been texting.
I'm pretty sure every time we've let someone go, it's been like
there's
that.
always a sub. There was always somebody in mind.
Someone
already.
in mind, yeah.
I think after that, for sure. We were like, oh, this is how we should do this.
Yep.
That's the number one question you don't ask during a breakup is there somebody else? Because you don't want that answer, motherfucker.
As my little brother says, you don't buy new shoes without having your old ones still on.
Oh,
that's cool. That hurts.
Don't tell me that, Tina.
Shout out, Gabe. I love you.
You don't buy new shoes without having your old ones stick.
Yeah.
Some people just genuinely want to be alone, Tina.
You don't walk into the shoe store barefooted.
Maybe I want my Converse with holes in them, motherfucker. Damn, that's cold as ice. Yeah. Anyways. So okay, so you get the new guitars. You start building the new roster.
Yeah.
So this was May of 2021 that the guitars drop out?
This was like October 2020.
Okay.
2020.
Okay.
Yes.
October, so between October of 2020 and May of 2021, you're building your new roster.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What does it look like compared to now?
It's a lot of the people you've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think around that time with the guitar switch, we also had a bit of a horn section switch up.
Okay.
And then we fired them before the guitar players. So we fired our horn section through text, which was another mistake.
Because they were such good people.
Yeah, they were good people. We really hurt them.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to fire them. Everybody was like, fire them. I was like, I don't want to. They're so nice. And it's like, it's not about nice. They need to play right.
Was there a skill deficit?
There was a commitment deficit.
It was more commitment.
Showing up to practice.
And then,
fair enough.
Like they were also like in a relationship, so it just felt like
if one was missing,
we didn't have horns, or like you didn't know if they were like missing because they were fighting, or it was just one of those things that we were unsure of, and like they wouldn't really answer in the group chat or anything. So it was just kind of like I just felt it in my gut that it was like
that's scary.
I was like, you're the one who knows horns. I didn't know horns. There's no horns at church, you know. So I was like, okay, if you guys think so, and then I write the text, you know, and somehow like all this firing and all this like has just become my job.
I mean, you're the
like
leader,
the
dude.
Emotional conversations that
if you're gonna make I'd imagine you've had a lot of positive conversations on behalf of the band. So if you're gonna accept the positive, you're gonna have to deal with the negative.
You
have to.
Yeah.
That's just part of responsibility.
Right.
You got to do that.
Yeah. So and I've embraced that, you know.
Yeah.
And since Jonah and like all the way to currently what's going on, like it's been like hard conversation after hard conversation has formed this band. And I think because of those hard conversations, because we were like the last two, you know?
Yeah.
And like that has just like steeled our like tolerance for behaviors and our like boundaries. Like we can sense things from miles away now. We're like, this guy's gigging so many times here. What do you think they're about? Like, do you think they're still into this or not?
Or should we start considering someone else on this? Like, it's literally like we could start sensing it.
What are the warning signs for this? Generally speaking, right? There's a musician in your group. It's not really
fucking with it.
Like they're up to like they've been meeting the standard, but now they're starting to slip. What are those early warning signs looking like?
It's like missing some of our bigger shows. Maybe showing up to rehearsal still, but like not having a clue of what's going on.
Not prepared. Not answering the group chats.
Or just like literally not showing
not
up or
participating.
answering. Yeah.
Not being as excited about your ideas.
It doesn't happen as much as it used to. Like, but
there's like
we
this
can sense
slow,
it. Yeah.
like
It's a slow. You could feel it.
you
Coming.
can see them playing with others more consistently and see them like.
I was going
wanting
to say
do
about
that
the
more,
excitement part
right?
of it. That's got to be relative, but I would imagine if it's like not excitement about ideas, but like their overall enthusiasm for being with the group is starting to drop outside of the normal. Like, hey, this person had a bad day, having a rough week, whatever. Because that happens. You know?
And it's not like a 1 week thing.
Yeah.
It's never
it's
like
over the
this
course
is
of
like
months.
months,
Yes.
Months
like,
up to a year where it's like, hey,
absolutely,
dude,
it's
like,
not,
what's up?
Our fuse is very long. Like, it's like,
well, you got to be and stuff like this.
Yeah, and like I genuinely love everybody that has been through this band.
Yeah,
and like most of the time, the firing has been because this is not pushing the band forward. It's never been like, I fucking hate your guts. It eventually boils down to that sometimes, you know. But like, the core of it all is like, you're not.
Are you a net positive to this project?
Yeah,
There's people that are putting in way more effort.
Yeah.
So
and it's a personal thing. It's personal.
Yeah.
We've grown this for years. It's personal. You know.
I think we've said that too. It's like, hey, we're giving this our all, and you're not, but that's okay. Like, we still love you, but we need someone else who could give it their all. You know?
Some more.
To me, it's not.
And I would imagine. I'm just going to throw this out there. I would imagine that as the popularity has grown, there are people that are like, hey, they got a lot of motherfuckers. They got room for one more.
Yep.
I'll bet there are people that hit y'all up.
That's the other thing I think we both realized is, like, at first I felt like we were, like, with
insecure.
The guitars. Yeah, we were like, we need everyone who will agree to come to a practice. But now it's like, I don't really get worried because I know I could ask pretty much any musician and they'll be pretty hyped that I even asked, you know?
So there's a build-up. There's been a build-up in our trajectory enough to have, like, kind of some wiggle room about it. And, like, there's more to be excited about, too, if you're new, right? If you've been here for a while, like, there's been more things to be excited about than if you're starting from ground zero and there's no history, there's no memories together. Like, of course, it gets tighter over time. That's every band story, right? Like, there's always the growing pains, and then you're like, see, if you believe.
So when did Danny come into the picture?
Oh, yeah. So that happened last year. Last year in May. So that was the last firing.
That was our last big breakup,
And that was hard because, again, Mike was a founder of the band.
And frontman, you know?
And frontman. And we'd been playing for a year and a half already. So everybody has seen us with him. And
the band has already grown decently.
Yeah. And people knew us. And people knew him as the singer. And so that was a big risk to take. And there's some things that I can't talk about.
No,
publicly.
I don't expect. No, you don't have
about
to.
what happened.
Yeah, it's
but
fine.
It came to a point where we were like, hey, again, the warning signs happened months before.
Yeah, it was
like
harder.
6 months. It's harder to hold the same, like, rope for your front man than a horn player, right? Like, it's harder to find. You're going to be more forgiving of certain behaviors.
But at the same time, if you maintain that standard for everybody,
and then you feel the discrepancy where, like, how come he gets to do this?
Like, consistency is key.
Yeah.
Consistency
like,
is key.
Yeah, I left it out of my bit, but because I had a stand-up bit about the Lizzo situation. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the fucking...
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, the girls that are on the dancing show with her.
I heard about
that. Have you seen the dancers that are with her on that show? It's basically 10 other Lizzos that are dancing with Lizzo.
Oh, okay.
And that's so part of... I didn't put it in my bit, but one of the ideas I was like, you basically got 10 other Lizzos dancing with Lizzo. I'm sure there's a power struggle there. Like, why does she get to do it and I don't get to do it? We look the same. I have as much, if not more, skill.
Yeah.
And
at that point in the business, like, it's not skill anymore.
Yeah.
It's
well, no,
like,
it's fame and shit like that.
It's breaks.
But my stupid joke was like, there's a reason that all the planets aren't the same size. The gravitational pull is gonna fuck up that whole system.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But anyway,
and plans develop certain ways, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I don't know what were we talking about. So
Mike.
Dan.
Dan.
So, we got to the point where, like, there was a lot of, like, I'm leaving you guys because I can't play with you guys anymore, and we're like, oh no, he's leaving us. You know, we have one more gig together, and then play that gig together, and he was like, oh, I still love you guys. I just need a break. You know, I just need a break from this. I need to make money. It's like,
and
cool,
again, you don't need to give details, but looking back on it, do you think it was a bit of burnout? Do you think it was a lot of?
I don't know.
It just happened.
It just happened. I think we
just
grew
natural
apart.
progression.
Yeah, and I think there was also again resentment building over time.
Happens.
I'll just say this again because I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but we've been very good friends like since I met him. So there's no like hate between us. But I remember like the most devastating thing. Like again, I said I just wanted to be in a cool band playing shows. I remember like because we all share a Google Calendar, and I just remember he blocked out like all the summer month weekends, and I was like, well, shit, like I don't get to play any shows this summer with my band that just killed it last summer.
Yeah,
like this is gonna be awful. I was like so torn about that. Yeah, and so that was like one of my factors that I was
every weekend was booked out that I was for like, another.
He was out on the calendar, which means he couldn't play. We couldn't play a show, you know. And I was so sad, like.
Ooh.
And we had like Tina and I like have been the schemers for the most part of this crew, and like came to.
I wouldn't say schemers, man. Y'all are planners. You're
right.
Movers.
That's what we call plans.
We call it scheming.
Yeah.
Because it happens late at night and it happens under candlelight, you know.
Yeah, no, schemers for the government, bro. You are planners and movers.
So we plan things, right? And I think we got to the point where we're like, do we keep playing corporate cover gigs and like play casinos and play weddings, or do we write our own music and be famous for our own music?
That's some real shit.
Yeah, because we were good at this. Risk. We were good at this. We were making money.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a bigger risk, but yeah.
And we're like, if we do this route, if we take this other route, either way, like we need to all buckle down and get better at our thing, this whole thing, like level up even more. And we had individual conversations with the band, and like, hey, this is what we want to do. Are you in? You know, and everybody was in. Everybody said they were in, right?
Right.
And for that to happen, where we're like, oh, you said you're in, but then all of summer is booked out. Like, why does that? It's not congruent.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
When iron meets metal, it's like, hey, why is this shit not forming?
Yeah. Why is it not lining up? Right. Why are your words not matching your actions? Yeah. It's as basic as that. And so it came to a head, and then like there was just like one moment, like the moment where it was just like, this is unacceptable behavior. We need to talk to you about this, about what you just did.
Yeah.
And you're a front man.
You're a front man. Like, this is not okay that you did what you did. Can we talk to you right after practice? Can we talk to you? And like when we brought up the issue, he got really angry and just walked out of the conversation.
Damn, that's sad.
And it's like, hey man, don't walk out of this conversation.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, that's obviously very immature and unprofessional, but at the end of the day, I mean, y'all built that bond, that relationship.
The three of us.
That's got to be sad.
It was.
Like, that's
it
gotta
was.
be,
Yeah, it was.
That's why I was like, please don't walk out of this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if you walk out of this conversation, this could be the end.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And Tina and I were like excited because everybody's on board. Da, da, da. And then one Sunday, it was just like, Tina, this happened, and she was like, fuck. We need to talk about this. And Monday hits practice, and we're like, after practice, you know. And I was like,
Let's
nice.
get through practice, yeah.
Let's get through practice.
And it was the week, so we had our first year anniversary show. So like
Friday.
we were celebrating like 1 year since like the sawmill starting, basically.
Yeah.
And it was like us and Red Light, so we were all hyped for our little 1 year anniversary show that we were doing.
Inside Out.
That was the rehearsal for it.
Yeah.
And
that was the rehearsal.
It all blew up.
And we had kept this from the rest of the band because we just like didn't want them to be dragged around by the drama because this was a core group issue.
So how many members were there at that point?
Already 9.
Yeah, everyone was there. And I remember we took him outside and like everyone was still in the garage and like they obviously heard the explosion, didn't know like what the explosion was.
The trumpet, hey you motherfucker, yo mama.
It was hard, man. It was a hard time.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, he quit.
Yeah.
Because that action shows you're not interested in accountability. And I remember that person saying like, fuck you, go find another singer in his anger. Mm-hmm. And that's like just not how we handle things, you know? And we've always handled things with integrity as much as we can. And like I have my low days, but I would never do that to Tina, you know. I would, if it was that serious, and it was very serious. You ask anybody like that knows it was a serious issue. Yeah. And you don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
And at that point, because of all the months of like, is this guy on board or not? Like that was like the culmination of all that drama, and like we're like, well, he's the one who left us. Now we really are gonna have to figure this out, you know. And the first thing we did was like talk to every band member. It's like, hey guys, like
we even had like I remember we had like a random like emergency band meeting that week.
Oh,
everyone came over to the backyard. Like
right. That was after this though. Remember when
was
after
it?
that whole situation, you talked to a certain group of the band, and I talked to a certain band members separately.
Yeah.
So like
That
I
night.
took our trombone player Aiden home, and like she talked to Nick and Jeremiah.
And like
Hugo.
people like hung back because they heard the explosion.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, listen, man. Mom and Dad are gonna spend a little bit of time.
Hey, buddy.
I'm sorry.
Dude, I remember this.
Christmases.
Yeah.
This is when the scheming went into full.
Yeah, we were like Tina and I got closer even
No,
more.
it was
after
like
that.
1 a.m. that
Yeah.
night. I remember you called me and you're like, dude, me and Aiden talked. I'm like, really? Me and some of the other boys talked. And we all had the same conversation and we were like
they all don't want to work with him.
we have to do it. We have to figure it out.
Yeah, and in our ignorance, like we try to hold on to a less than committed person because we didn't want the rest of the crew to leave. If they saw the vocalist leave, they would be like, "Oh, this is over."
That
right?
tends to be like when it's like this might be a horrible analogy, but it's like when let's say like an old shirt.
Yeah.
And you got the one string coming out, and you think, "Oh, let's just be the one string. I can just rip it," and you end up
Unraveling the
untethering
Yeah,
the whole
we had no
shit.
idea.
Yes, we
Yeah.
didn't know how it was going to affect everyone.
Yeah.
And somehow everybody was united in the feeling of that was the right decision.
This change has to, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we actually don't want to work with them, and I was shocked.
think that
I was
speaks
like,
to you
"Whoa!"
guys.
Like,
I think that speaks to you guys.
yeah,
You know, because again, I'm not there. I didn't know, but I would imagine as that person starts to just like a fucking romantic relationship.
yeah,
As that person starts to detach, that other person has to step up, and in your case, it was you two.
yeah,
So y'all step up. You're helping lead the band, whether it's consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah.
And other people are seeing that. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, they're taking the reins a little more than maybe this other guy is. What's going on? We don't know. Whatever. So when it comes to a head, it's like, okay, yeah, these guys still care.
yeah.
It fucking sucks losing a front man.
Right.
Like not
Yeah.
not
Who
lowering
was your
that.
friend? Like,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
not lowering that, not downplaying that,
Yeah.
but they probably saw you guys like, okay, they're actually about it. Like whether or not they like recognize that beforehand.
yeah,
Definitely after that, they say, okay,
sure.
these are the people.
right.
Okay, we can get
definitely.
behind these guys as leaders now.
Yeah.
For sure. Like there's no question.
Yeah, and I think that was the shift that happened after that was
And what was the time period between that incident and then Danny coming in?
2 days.
Damn.
No, this was like I said, that Inside Out show was in like
the
4
show
days.
still had to
Oh
go.
yeah, I was gonna
man.
say. So did Danny sing that?
Yeah. So
Oh
So-
it was like a secret audition for our next
That's a
singers. 'cause
fucking
we-
christening right there.
No, we got to talk about how that show went.
So, that whole thing happened on Monday, and like Tuesday morning I start reaching out to singers because we still wanted to play the show, and there was no way we were not going to play our first year anniversary, right?
Yeah.
So I reached out to different singers.
There was so I hate to ask, but I have to. Was there ever any like conversation or any question of like, hey, I get this isn't gonna happen anymore to your front man that left, but like, hey, buck up and do the show and then leave, or was that
Oh, no.
out of the question?
Out of the
It was
question.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
we
Okay.
like
would not. We're not putting up with that.
Okay,
the
fair
explosion
enough.
was just that crazy.
Okay,
like,
fair enough. Fair
scary
enough.
too.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 5 days to scramble.
Yeah, 4 days.
4 days. Okay, you have 4 days to scramble, and you find or you land on Danny.
So,
I have to
no.
shout out Lorenzo
Yes.
because he
Is that
came
the
in.
dude
Nighttime
you
Drive.
Yes.
introduced me to?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
LJ
So
the
Nighttime
Kid.
Drive, LJ the Kid, Lorenzo.
Yes.
He
yes, can't forget
literally
him.
came to the rehearsals, helped out every one of our guest singers.
Wait.
just,
So he
like-
doesn't know all that stuff.
Right?
You
Is that-
gotta build up to
How
that.
do I say this?
So we don't have a singer, and so we
Yeah.
reach out to singers.
Yes.
And Lorenzo was definitely like, "Hey, man, like, we
He's
got a
gonna make
Friday
it
show.
happen. Yeah.
Can you sing for us on Friday? Because you know the songs. He's seen us play for the last couple of years. He's been around the band a lot, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it because he heard of the drama. He heard all that happened.
Yeah.
I reach out to Amanda Michonne from Red Light Cameras, He's like, we're sharing the bill. Do you want to sing a song with us or two? She says yes. You know, we met Danny at an open mic, and we're like, let's hit up Dan, because we've always been curious about him.
Yeah, we always talked
like,
about
this
him.
guy can sing.
Yeah.
Like, let's call him. So
And
call him.
fuck yeah, he can.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that dude. Not gonna lie.
He's a great singer, and I was like watching his Instagram. I was like, yeah, he would be a different sound for sure, but he has the charisma. He's our age. Like he can sing.
He has the look of you guys too.
Right.
I gotta say, like, he
It's fit
fits
so
very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
And at that time we only had one singer, right? And so we sing. Call all these other singers to sing. We rehearse everybody on a Wednesday. And like I think Wednesday was when the spirits just lifted.
It was
like,
so fun.
It was like Monday drama, Tuesday the hangover from the drama,
Anxiety.
and anxiety, getting everybody to say yes to sing with us. Wednesday, hey, let's rehearse, and one by one these singers would come in and would rehearse two songs, and it was like whoa. And these people were happy to be in our space.
And like the singers were like watching each other perform their songs, and like Lorenzo was like helping them out. Like it was so cool.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
so the energy that you currently see now on stage, like it was born on that.
It's
I feel
curated
like that,
out of that night.
of that Wednesday, right? Like that Wednesday where like the you know Jesus rose again, like feeling. It was like
The third day.
the third day. On the third day, the mango cakes rose again.
That's
like
beautiful.
yeah, these singers came in and they were happy to be there, and that's what I remember feeling was they were happy to be in that space with us, and they were prepared, and I had not felt that for a long time, and because of their excitement and because they were new, all of us were like, we gotta show out for these people because they love this, we need to love this too, you know. And so every song was like play our ass off for them, and like they sang their ass off for us. And so Friday came, and like success, you know, it was a beautiful show. You know, we said our goodbye in the middle of that week officially on Instagram, and like, you know, told everybody that was the situation, not the details.
Yeah, but it's like,
but
hey,
he's not singing with us.
Transition of power here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you know what I mean.
Fair enough,
like
fair
like we're
Right.
Yeah.
Regime change.
Yeah.
yes.
Regime change. That's a better.
Fair enough. Yeah. So that what happened on Friday, and Lorenzo sang most of the songs that night. Like he became the front man for that night for us, and because he knew us already, and he would never sing for us, like because he has his own project, and I totally respect it, and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But for that night, he was a mango cake, and I was like, I would rather, like he's the person to do this, and then ease in people to come up, and like
When did you guys solidify Danny?
after that. So
That's
after
awesome.
that show, we were like, this might be the guy.
That's cool.
Let's have lunch with him and like see and audition him.
Like the fucking mob or what? You say, hey, listen, man, you gonna
listen,
come
man.
and play some music?
We're
You
gonna
gonna-
get some sushi.
You want a pinky ring like this? You gotta play a couple of songs. Hey, bring the gabagool, you know? I've seen 2.5 seasons of Sopranos, okay?
Basically,
I am
that's
Italian.
what happened. We had sushi though.
We did have sushi.
We had sushi.
Yeah.
And Dan
Yeah.
was since the beginning. Dan has always been eager, like, like he's always been eager to learn.
Very humble.
Always humble.
Very humble.
And like, and talented. So like all the what else could you ask for? You know.
Yeah, for real.
He was very raw. I would say that. Like he was very raw, and like he's never performed 3-hour sets before. He's not sang a lot of the top 40 songs that we perform. So there was a learning curve.
I saw you guys, not to like completely flash forward, but I saw that you guys are doing that fucking Barbie song on Saturday.
Maybe.
Yes.
Fucking good luck with that. That is such an intricate fuck. I don't even fuck with Dua Lipa, but that's such an intricate fucking song. To me, to the the untrained ear,
Yeah.
I'm like,
we just
have fun.
Yeah, it's not even the best song on the set list.
Ooh.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, fuck you, Dua Lipa. No, I'm just kidding. You're pretty.
Just kidding, you're pretty.
I love her songs. Like it's very catchy. But
it-
we love her songs. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyways,
yeah.
Danny. Yeah, Danny. We auditioned him, and like, you know, who else? Like, who else were we gonna call? And
Yeah.
so it made sense. Like, this guy got everything. We just need to develop him. You know.
Yeah,
just
we-
need to get
We really
reps.
strategized.
And he was
Yeah.
open to interpretation, and he was willing to learn.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's rare to find today. Like for real. Like no
From
matter
a talented person.
like no matter. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fucking sure. But just from people in general.
Yeah.
Like whether you're in like a entertainment creative space, you're in a professional, like corporate, at the very like 9 to 5 space.
Be teachable.
It's hard to find people that are teachable, and that quality deteriorates as time goes on, right? The older somebody gets, the more stuck. You're like, he's just 50, he's 60 years old, he's stuck in his ways.
Yeah.
I never want to be that guy. Like I have morals and I have like my ethics, right? But my ideas. I'm not married to any of my ideas.
It can change.
Yeah, I want to get proven wrong.
Sure.
I don't want to ever be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
On principle, ever. So to find someone like that's willing to like open enough to work with you, confident enough to be with you,
confident too,
but humble enough to learn, like that's a blessing.
Yeah.
That is an absolute fucking blessing.
Yeah. And we didn't know who Dan was. Like we just had seen his Instagram. We saw him once at an open mic. We didn't really know him as a person before asking him to come sing. And I think as we had the lunch, like it was very apparent that he was all those qualities. Like it was starting to show.
So cute.
And yeah, and then and what's crazy was
mango moment.
Yeah, and what was crazy was we had 2 major Sandia Casino gigs next month.
Yeah.
And like those are 3-hour sets. So you got to learn song after song after song after song cuz like you're paying for 3 hours,
So if you can't answer this at all or answer it in parts, I understand. So at the time that you guys brought Danny into the band, was he married?
He's not married.
I thought he was married.
He has a long-term partner.
Oh, I thought they were married. Okay,
Yeah.
whoops. Anyway, so sorry. The Mango manager is amazing, and regardless of their relationship status, she's awesome. So
Yes.
I gotta say that was so funny to me when I was getting you guys booked.
The manager thing.
Yeah, because not only I can say this now because we're homies.
Yeah.
And this is the second like Mango appearance on the phone. When I first spoke to your manager, do you know how fucking drunk I was? I was fucking slammed.
Oh my god.
I was so and so because because what happened was I had seen.
Launchpad, right?
Yeah, it was at Launchpad.
Yeah.
And I saw, because I watched the Slums play, and Toby was like, hey, you got to watch the Mangoes. Have you seen them play?
Toby said that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Toby was like, have you seen the Mangoes play? And I was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, we're hopping over from Inside Out to Launchpad. You need to come with us.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we'll see. I got to take because I was with my...
Dude.
I was with my ex at the time, and I was like, I got to take her home. She has to work in the morning.
Yeah.
We'll see if I come back. And so they're like, okay. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll fucking still be a dick. We'll see. So because she lives like 5 minutes away.
Okay.
So I went, I took her home, and then I came back, and I remember
You came back.
Yeah, I came back. I remember texting Toby. I was sober at this point. I remember texting Toby, and I was like, these guys better be fucking good. Because it's past my bedtime. So if this guy's better be fucking good.
I love when people come in like that, dude.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I come in and I start drinking, and you guys got on, and what caught my eye or my ears first was Josie. Holy fuck. And we'll get to when she came into the band for sure, but holy shit.
Right.
And then just your whole production and the fucking horns and the drums, just everything was fucking wild. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, the night goes on, y'all, and I came at the beginning of your set. So I was going back and forth with a few drinks.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like falling over myself,
Yeah.
but I was barely having a conversation without being like, hey, how's it going? My name is,
That's why we sounded great.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that. Y'all sounded amazing either way, man.
That's funny.
But anyway, so see, I can't remember all the intricacies of that moment.
You were drunk.
Yeah. But I remember going up to your table because I was with Leroy, Toby, and maybe Nevin was there.
Okay.
But I remember, and obviously because she was at the front of the band, I recognized Josie.
Right.
And and someone, I think it was Leroy, because that dude always fucking, like, middleman shouts me out when we're in public. He's the shit. I love that guy. He told Josie, I guess, hey, Noah runs a podcast. You should go on. And he had come up to me. He was like, you should get the mango cakes on your podcast. And I was like, okay, they're so talented. I'd love to. Because I see, especially I didn't know you guys at the time. Like, I see talented people on stage, and I'm like, they'll never come on. Okay, whatever. I'm here to enjoy music. That's fine. I'm not here for business or networking. So he had told me that, and I was like, okay. So I went to Josie because I had recognized her, and I was like, I tried to pull it together. I'm sure I looked sloppy as shit. I'm sure. And I was like, hey, I would love to fucking have you on the podcast. And then she goes, oh, that'd be awesome. But I have a manager. So and she introduced me to the manager. And she's like, hey, if you want to do any booking or anything, we have to go through our manager now. And I was like, sounds good. Hey, my name's Noah.
I love that, dude.
And she was so nice.
God. Yeah,
she was so nice to me, and she was like, "Yeah." All I remember is like, "Yeah, let me know tomorrow or Monday." 'Cause it was a Saturday night, you know. Hey, let me know tomorrow or Monday. We'll set up a date, and And I was like, "Sounds good." And I piled into the slums car, and we ended up going. And,
love that.
Yeah,
that's how we ended up here.
Yeah, and so, but then the next morning, it kind of like echoes of it, or in my head,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. I'm sure I acted like an asshole. Oh no. If I get too like drunk in public, I wake up the next morning insecure as shit. For like,
what did I do?
Yeah, for like 24 hours. Even around my friends. Yeah. I'm like, oh fuck, did I make an ass out of myself? Did I say something stupid? I'm a loud person by nature, so I was like, was I too loud in public? That is how my anxiety runs, right?
Fair enough.
But I get a message from y'all's manager, and she's like, hey, if you still want to have him on, let me know. We can do it. I was like, oh thank god. You
didn't burn any bridges.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah, great. That was a great show. Holy shit. Anyway, so Danny comes onto the production. He's doing well. He's very teachable. He's willing to learn. He's extremely likable, charismatic. Yeah. You guys are playing all these casino shows.
The charisma wasn't there yet.
Interesting.
That was one of the things that we coached out of.
How
Not we actually. So there's another story here, but
I was gonna say, how do you teach somebody charisma?
By making them sing next to Amanda Michonne for a whole summer.
For a whole summer, yeah.
Oh shit! So that's what he was referencing during the last episode about her coaching him and helping him out.
Yes. So
that's called a swift kick in the ass from her. Mm-hmm. Holy shit!
Yes. So the biggest thing that just like blew my mind at that time was I hit up Amanda, and at this point Amanda and I like we're Filipino musicians in the music scene. Like there's always like an immediate camaraderie with that, like just coming from the same culture.
Yeah.
And I've always respected her. And Red Light Camera's Mag Kim, their guitar player, the big Korean guy.
Yeah, yeah.
His wife was a coworker of mine in immigration law, so I've heard of Amanda.
Albuquerque is too fucking
one
small.
Person away, and like his wife was like one of my best coworkers, friends ever, you know. So I like have heard of Red Lights, and like shyly like reach out to him and like, hey Amanda, I just want to let you know like we're parting ways with our vocalist, and can you sing on Friday, you know? And everybody, I think the horns, and definitely my friend Aiden, the trombone player, who's like, you need to get her to sing for us this summer. And Tina and I hadn't considered like two singers at that time because we just were replacing one singer.
Had you seen the Red Lights live?
Yeah.
At that point? Okay.
Yeah, I'd seen them live.
Okay.
And obviously that feeling of watching them live, the energy's palpable. Yeah. And it's like, she's a monster. And this is a big ask, but we'll try, you know.
Hey, props to you guys for doing it.
Yeah. And
that's why I stayed away for a while, because I didn't ask her to come. I asked the Red Light Cameras a few months ago, and we were like talking about it, but it never really happened. So I didn't want to be that guy that pesters.
Fair.
You know? But I told her on the podcast, I told her off the camera, I was like, I wasn't going to ask you yet. Yeah. I was going to wait because you're it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing with Amanda is like what I really respect about her, because she knows what she wants to do. Mm-hmm. And she does what she says she'll do, you know. And so when she said like I'll sing for you on Friday, it's like we got to be ready for this.
She's very direction oriented.
Yeah, and she doesn't waste anybody's time, you know. And we don't want to waste her time. And of course, from somebody that's like legendary like that in the scene, like you got to respect their time too, you know.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of mutual like respect and love, and like we could hang with like, oh, she can sing and be performing on stage, but we were not slouches in our instruments either. Like we were putting on a show instrumentally.
I was gonna say, so to catch
Yeah.
everybody up, she plays for your show at the 1 year anniversary.
At the 1 year anniversary.
1 year into being what you guys are as a group.
Yes,
Okay.
1 year. 1 year into playing as a group.
Playing as a group.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The COVID was that weird year, yeah. And
Right,
so
yeah.
she says yes, and then we felt like, whoa, she's a great fit. Like she also could hang with, like that would be great if she could somehow sing for us. And so I just asked like, hey, do you want to sing for us? And she's like, let me think about it. And she's like, whoa, she's thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tina, how did you feel about that whole transition with Amanda and stuff?
I just
What do you remember?
I remember a lot of coffee meetings. Like she was very clear on everything of like
Yeah.
what she expected from us.
Yeah.
Of
That it's
of her of her being like hyped on certain decisions we were making.
Yeah.
She was always very honest with like how Dan was doing, which was always good.
Yeah.
No, she was like brutally honest, which
Yeah.
which I loved about everything.
So
about what she was thinking. Yeah.
So off camera, after we wrapped the podcast, me and her were talking for a little bit, and she had brought up how she almost sang for you guys.
Yeah.
And we didn't go into like amazing detail about
Yeah.
it because she was on her way out. She left at like I think 9:30 at night, 9:15 at night. But yeah, she was telling me, and I was shocked. I didn't know that. I didn't know she almost sang for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Well,
She was like, yeah, we had a good conversation, and I was very honest with what we were gonna do and what it might look like.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but I'm so happy with what they're doing now, and Josie's the shit, and Danny's awesome, and everything. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Amanda almost went with the mango cakes.
And it happened for a summer. Like she was actually
Yeah.
on stage with
Yeah,
us.
she-
Yeah.
But
like as like a permanent basis type
as
shit.
a permanent
Yeah.
fixture. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like let's do this. And she was like, the Red Light Cameras are my baby, and they're gonna take priority.
Right.
And we were like, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
after hearing everything you've told me up to this point, I would imagine that because she's been doing it for so long. She's a professional. She's a businesswoman, that type of shit. So with everything you guys have gone through as a band, as a duo at that point, with those hard leadership conversations, the members that have either left the band cordially or a bad breakup, you now have enough callous and enough experience on you business-wise to hold your own in a conversation with somebody like that.
Yes.
Because you go into that conversation green, you're like, whoa, what do you...
It's a waste of everybody's time.
It's like, I don't even know what she's talking about. What's this demeanor? What is
Yeah.
this? So that's interesting how that all evolved for you
No,
guys.
I even remember like one of those conversations. He was like, "I want to do the shows, but I'm not going to the casinos with you guys." So that was another like, okay, how can we keep bringing Dan to the casino, but also put him
Have different
around
singers.
experienced vets that he'll
Yeah.
still be learning from,
Yeah.
and like, so it was just kind of like the whole summer was.
The whole summer was coaching Dan into being a cake. And baking. We were baking Dan.
He's baking the cake.
We were baking Dan. And, he had the raw ingredients. And, we're like, let's come together, get more chemistry. And I think him being in front with Amanda, with Paul Palmer and Christina Leeper for the casino shows, for the corporate shows. Like, we had a wedding, right? That Mario Coleman, who's amazing, who lives in Dallas now, but amazing vocalist and performer. Like, monstrous, man. Like, you just watch if he performs. I'll show you a video at some point.
Yeah.
He got to see those guys, and like we were very clear. It's like, Dan, you can do that. You'll be able to do that. And I want you to start working towards that. Your vocals are there. We just need the energy.
The presence.
The presence of being the front person. And he was like, yes, cool. All right. I'll try.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
It's
Always.
The willingness to learn cannot be valued enough.
Yeah. And he's failed a couple times where he like felt that was awkward or maybe like da-da-da. It's like, and he always like, cool, let's do it again. And he'll just get better the next time. And that's what I've always like, that's a quality in this crew that's like, there's always somebody better than you. You said this with Amanda, like always. There's another band better than Mango Cakes. Always,
Yeah.
But we're always like, when we face things in front of us that we need to face, we always say, we're going to do the best we can when we're tackling this one thing in front of us, as good as we can. and then figure out the rest later, right?
Yep.
And we've always done well, and that's why we've gotten this far, you know. And yeah, and so Dan has that quality.
For sure.
It's like, I fucked up those lyrics. Let's do it again. And the next show, like, you got it, you got it, you got it. You know.
So Dan becomes a staple.
Bandit.
How long is he in the band until a Josie conversation comes up?
Dun, 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 dun. So Josie, that's the story.
Yeah, I feel like we only had one show alone with Dan, as Dan is the only front man. Do you remember that?
The shows better than me. I don't remember shows
Amanda's
as like
birthday
it was.
show. Amanda's birthday show. Dan
was
sang alone. I remember that.
Didn't Paul Palmer and Jessica sing with us that night?
That was a different
That's
show.
a different show. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
That's why you're the captain.
That's why she remembers all those details.
I don't know how. And then because we loved having Amanda, so we still wanted like that female presence, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amanda had to stop singing for various reasons at that point.
Okay.
And like, this is the end.
We knew, yeah.
and
It was
they're
like no.
Okay, respect, like for
Yeah.
sure. Thank you so much. You took us through the summer, which
awesome.
is important, right? And Dan had learned the ropes from her. And
All's well that ends well.
done.
Good.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it culminated in her birthday show, which is
That's
kind
cool.
of amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jabez kept telling me, because I would always hype up Josie because I played with her at church every now and then. And every time I was playing at that church, I was like, geez, like this girl doesn't mess up. Like ever.
No
Like,
crack notes.
I just remember
hits every
like,
note.
I remember worship pastors before her, like, it just didn't sound good. And I was like, dang, like this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember I would always tell Jabez, like, that girl up at Life Church, she's the one, but I don't know how we can make her the one.
Right.
Like, she's the one.
There's the
Nope.
disconnect between.
Like, I
this is
have no
talented-
idea how we could do that, though.
Yeah, and I think she would show me videos, and then I would follow Josie eventually. And like in this time of transition, I was like, I'm gonna slowly like put feelers out as well for on my end. Like they're friends already. She doesn't know me at all, but she knows me through Tina. Like, oh, you're in the band together. And I would say things like, and I said this in the last podcast, I'd be like, dude, what? You just killed that song. Why is everybody just sitting down? You know, I would say things like that, like because the video would show like church people just watching her belt these high ass notes and like sing "Dream On." Dream on, like
Yeah.
perfectly, and everybody was just like doing this, like they're not even clapping for you. Just put it on their ear, like they're not even clapping for you. And then it's like if she just experienced singing that same high note at Marble with us, people are gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
One, and she's gonna be hooked. Two, like that was just as simple as that.
She's
just
gonna
believe
break
that.
hearts and repair them all in one night.
All right.
We
So-
just believe that, yeah,
I have the next
yeah.
very detailed show memory. So our last show with Amanda, it was like officially the last one that she was going to do with us was like, I think it was a Marble show like about a year ago. So in August.
Yeah,
And she was on that.
killed that show too.
And then Jabez was like, let's see if we could get Josie to just come up for a song or two. So I like nervously called Josie because we weren't like tight. Like we kind of knew each other because I would go play at her church for her, but like that was it.
Yeah.
And I called her and I was like, so I like have this band and we're kind of popular for like bringing people on stage and singing with us. Like, would you want to? Like, it's totally cool if not, but like, please do it.
Right.
And yeah,
And she said yes.
she said, yup.
And we chose the songs.
Yeah, I think I sent her like our song list, or I suggested a few that.
What does she sing for you guys?
Sweet Child of Mine and Love on Top.
Who's that by?
Beyonce.
Okay,
There's a moment there that it changes keys 5 times.
Oh wow.
Baby, it's you. It's already high as hell. And then you change keys even higher. And then you change. It's like a vocal flex for Beyonce.
Oh shit.
And those were hard. Both songs were hard, you know. And we're
Yeah.
like, let's
Let's
give her the difficulty level. Like, you know, can she handle this
Trial by
really high?
fire.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we knew she could totally do it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I think afterwards we met her for coffee because we wanted her in the band, and we kind of asked her, and she was down. It was kind of under some like restrictions back then, but she still said yes.
Yeah.
Like it was like, I don't want to be playing late on Saturdays.
Because I got church in the morning.
I don't want to cuss on stage. Like there was
Yeah.
just a few little things that she said, but she was like, but yeah, I'm down. And
But
we're
yeah,
like,
she's down. Yeah, she was like
Yeah.
excited. Like you could
Yeah.
tell she was excited about it. There's
cool.
still this awkwardness, right? Like we don't know each other very
Yeah,
well.
it
Right.
was still like
You're still like feeling each other out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you want to sing for us? You know, what was awesome for me about it was like she hadn't been taken by anybody else in the scene yet.
no, that was the key
Because like
thing.
she will be if she sings with us, she's our person.
Yeah.
Like the mango cakes, where did they pull this person out of? You know, like
Yeah.
that's what it was like exciting for me. It's like people don't even know that we got a monster in our pocket.
Yeah.
And somehow it happened. And she says like she'll say this like that show at Marble was like she's like, whoa, this is a great feeling, you know. It's like I want to do this.
That's awesome.
And funny enough, like the first gig that we had to do with her was Night of the Living cover bands on a Saturday night at 12 o'clock. One of her rules. It's like, Josie, I know you said no Saturday nights, but it's only 30 minutes and you can go home after. You don't have to set up or you don't have to do, you just show up and play for 30 minutes and go home. She's like, sure, I don't care. Like, oh,
Gotcha, bitch.
got him. You got him. And then we sing "Smoking Out the Window" and we were like, hey, it says bitch.
No, I remember texting Jabez. I was like, bro, this song has a bad word. Should we ask her?
At practice, we both walk up. It's like, hey, Josie.
Yeah, we literally walked
You don't
up.
have to say bitch.
We're like, we know it's one of your rules. Do you want to change it? Like,
Yeah.
she's like, no, I don't care.
I don't care. Great. She's a mango cake. We baked her immediately.
Oh, beautiful.
Instant bake. Like, immediately mango cake. And again, she was still shy. Like, your dad said this comment, like, first show with Josie. You know how Josie dresses at our shows? Like, like, you're looking, you know, she's spectacular.
Yeah.
First show, she's in overalls and like.
Yeah, my dad was like, dang, Josie with her boots and stuff these days. Like, a year ago, I remember her rolling up with her overalls and her glasses. And like, I was like, Dad, that's such a sweet memory. Like,
That's yeah, because
She's
all
fierce
you,
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all you
she
guys,
is,
but she
yeah.
definitely plays up the performer
No,
part of it.
She's fierce now, right?
Yeah,
And
she has it down.
And we at first wasn't like that. So it was like it built up to that moment, you know.
That's awesome.
And I think we all then when we had Josie and Dan, who were so bought in, the rest of the band was like, "Whoa, we're legit, even more legit than we ever were before." And
Yep.
everybody had like, we were worried about Hugo at one point. We were like, "Man, does this guy still want to play with us?" And after a couple gigs, we were like, "Oh yeah, this guy's back. You know, we got him back. You know." And so, yeah. So, yeah, man, it's been a great, since then, like, that's been the story of, like, let's make a show happen. It's a show. It's all, you know, directed.
One piece, yeah.
Yeah. It's not a 3-hour casino gig where we're just playing and stopping and playing and stopping. It's, like, cohesive, thought out, planned. You're moving a certain way. You're stepping back. You're, like, we're, like, doctoring all that stuff at my house, like, talking about these moves, you know.
How
and, like,
long is a typical practice for you guys?
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Nice. How many times a week?
Once or twice.
Nice.
Once or twice.
And how much is expected of solo practice?
Oh, that's
You have to, like,
it's intrinsic, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
Like, I'm not expecting you guys to like doctor hours and shit like
Right.
that, but it's
no,
like
you have to come. You have to know your.
You
like,
need- you need
have
to-
to know the set list before practice.
like yes, there's
or,
like obviously
or
there's
it's gonna be painful.
Right. Like obviously there's the shows and that's like your ultimate
yeah.
test day.
Yeah.
That's your final exam.
Yeah.
But the fucking
lesson, the chapters.
I was gonna say the practices are like your quizzes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially like cover songs that like the track is already laid out. It's like you have to show up like knowing it, or else.
And there's like fluctuating times where it's
Yeah.
like we're really slacking.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
some days they're like, hell yeah, that was tight, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's mostly hell yeah days. Then like, okay, I get it. It's the first day we're running through this song. It's gonna be rough. It sucks.
Yeah.
Let's run it through it a couple times. Play one show with it, and then usually after that one show, we're like, cool, it's tight. It's
Yeah.
gonna get tight. So
Y'all are testing out songs at shows? No way.
not testing out, but like, let's go for it.
Oh, like a first run type thing.
Like,
I was gonna
yeah,
say,
like this Dua
'cause
Lipa
was like,
song,
I could
right?
not tell y'all are
Like,
testing songs.
no,
What
like-
the
we
fuck?
are. The
Like,
PYT
sometimes-
song was like
Yeah, sometimes we'll play songs at shows and then we're like, nah.
flat.
PYT was
Leave it
dope.
alone.
I dug that
No, yeah,
shit.
that-
I dug the.
That's all.
Who the fuck was I telling that to? I think I
Leroy.
was telling it to Leroy.
I know on Leroy's.
Yeah, where I was like, you guys, like these guys fucking did Michael Jackson. Like you don't touch Michael, bro. Like what the? That's awesome. You did it quite. You did it quite well.
Thank you.
Did it extremely
felt like
well.
It was terrible.
Really?
Yeah, we felt like it was
Just the beginning.
like the intro was like
At least for me, the
intro, the start of that song, and this is details that most common folks won't know, but I wanted to talk about it. Yeah, let me talk to you about it.
Common folk.
Yeah, I listened. We recorded that whole set actually. Somebody was. You saw the video person and the audio people were there.
Yeah.
I listened to it again, and like what happened was like nobody knew when to come in, so we were hanging on the intro for like almost 2 minutes. Ding 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 ding, and nobody was like, you're supposed to play that. No, like apparently, our keys player told the trumpet player who was supposed to do that lick that he got it, but he didn't tell me he was gonna do that. And so I was telling the trumpet, play the lick. Why are you not playing the lick? It's like, he said that he's gonna play it. I was like, don't do that to me in the middle of the show, man. We gotta practice. We practice it this way, you know. So I was like looking. You'll see a video eventually, and you'll see me like looking behind me. Who's gonna play this song? They got the death stare because I give death stares.
Yeah.
On stage sometimes, and it took a while for them to figure out who's gonna play the lick, and so finally somebody played the lick, and like, cool, let's go. Yeah.
I think I was already grooving by then because I was like waiting that long. I was like
playing the groove, and
I was like, well, I guess that's not happening.
Yeah.
Like.
And so you were playing the groove, and we're still in the intro. Like you were playing the verse, and we're still in the intro. Like it was really awkward, but when we got going for sure, and that's what you probably experienced. Yes.
I thought the whole shit was cool, but yeah.
Sorry, yeah, we get nerdy about these details.
Well, you have to be. To be as great as you are, you have to be.
That's why.
It's intrinsic to growth.
That's why.
Yeah. What is like? I hate to ask fucking basic questions, but like, what is like the hardest cover you've done so far?
Jeez.
Do you have a hardest cover?
Billionaire is a hardcover. That's recent. Bruno Mars.
I don't listen to a whole lot of Bruno Mars.
I don't want to be a billionaire.
Oh, that song. Okay, yeah.
There's so many sections there.
Yeah, it's really long.
There's some Latin songs that we've played that were like tricky to nail. Like maybe Despacito was hard.
Yeah, that was hard because the feel. The Runaway Baby song we do is kind of like.
It's also hard.
That's also a hard one.
Yeah. Yeah, Runaway Baby, also by Bruno Mars.
Because
any Bruno Mars song,
because we cover live versions of songs.
Yeah, Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic has been the one
song we can't.
The one song is just like, it just does not feel right when we play it.
Because you guys you slaughter your shows, but your covers are nuts. Right. Absolutely fucking nuts.
We watch live videos.
We watch the live versions and play that version instead of the audio recording.
Or make our own.
Where did that decision come from?
I think that is over time.
Yeah, well, I just remember during the pandemic, me and you would watch a lot of like live Bruno.
Yeah.
So like that's how the Locked Out of Heaven cover came. Yeah. That's how the live Treasure cover came. Mm-hmm. I found the live Beyonce cover.
Yep. Of Crazy in Love.
Yeah.
And we watched Silk Sonic live.
Yeah. We did do that.
Nice. We watched Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak, and Bruno Mars. Yeah. Their show was like.
You saw them live in person?
In Vegas.
That's
in Vegas,
sick.
man. And man, like just the production level of like tightness, lights hitting at the right time, and they're dancing as the light hits them, like, and just like the sound and the band and like all of those things. That was just so inspiring to see. Like we've heard these songs a lot of times and listening to the album, but then when you play it live, they don't play those songs like the record.
Right.
They're arranging new things over it. They're transitioning into songs, into covers that, like, whoa, I didn't even think of that cover making sense with your song. So that was the inspiration. That's why we do it this way, I think. And I mean, we're babies in that regard. You know, like we're still learning a lot.
That's fucking cool. Yeah. Before we get out of here, I have to ask, where is the new song on Spotify, folks? Where is the new studio? I want more Mango Cake to listen to on the go.
Man. Yeah, talk about Higher, Tina. Do the promo.
All right, so we have this song called Higher. It's about our love for the audience and our fans.
This happened last time.
And
I know. I listened to the podcast yesterday. It was like, definitely end of May. We're going to release it.
We do have an official release date, which
We
is
finally-
actually a month from right now.
So, September
24th.
24th.
We will be throwing a show at Launchpad.
Oh shit!
So it's actually, so if
We're releasing a single.
we've actually been announcing the actual date.
Yeah.
okay.
September 24th.
Who else is on the bill? Do you know yet? For
I think
Launchpad?
we might just have one band.
We have
at
St.
the moment.
Levi. They're up and coming back.
I've been hearing about them.
Yeah. they're
Actually, they played a slum show, I
Yes.
think, but I showed up after they got off.
dope. Okay. Yeah.
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 Those
Okay.
guys are next. I
Yeah?
feel that. Like, I feel
Okay.
like they have a lot of potential.
Okay. Well, I mean, they have to. They're on your fucking bill, so I'd hope so.
And
I'm
then-
biased. I play bass. I'm playing bass for them right now. But,
Oh, okay.
And we
Yeah.
have some ideas for another
second.
band. Yeah.
we wanted the Slums, obviously, but they're doing.
They're doing Bands of Enchantment that
Yeah.
night.
Whoever decided to put you two on the fucking bill together, give them a raise.
As sister.
Seriously.
Any
oh my god, that
That's
last
expressive.
sister show
hey, it's
was
happening again this Saturday.
this Saturday. Yep.
Marble is going to be like that.
Yeah. Fucking that sister show was nuts. And yeah, all of it was great. Your set was great. Their set was great. But then when they played Paramore and Josie was singing, then you guys burst out at the last cut. Oh, fucking oh,
That was
God.
fun.
Now granted, obviously, I'm a very biased individual and I've become friends with you guys. Like, obviously, I'm biased when that shit happens, but fuck, it's so cool seeing you guys do your thing. It is
That
so
was fun.
The
It
last
is.
song.
Yes, it's so fucking cool,
Like we
man.
just jumped and did
Great.
Paramore.
Beautiful.
That's fun.
So fun.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got, because this is going to drop Saturday morning. So we have tonight.
Yes.
There is Marble Fest. Slums on at 6:30. You guys 8:30?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So Marble Fest, August 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah. Music starts at 2, but we start at 8:30.
Oh, so it's like
So-
a day long thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's day long. It's
Oh,
a festival. Yeah. Find parking. There's a cover, $10 cover. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
DJs, contests, food,
New beer.
yodel contest.
Yodel.
Yeah.
I think that's either while we're setting up.
It's like
or the slums are
Oktoberfest, right?
setting
But
up.
like Marble
Oh,
Fest. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? You went to Germany, you know.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, for a week
Oh, fair,
during the winter.
fair enough.
All right, so okay, tonight we've got Marble Fest, and then in September we've got Launchpad. Anything
24.
else coming up?
We are doing a little more intimate show September 9th at a smaller place, 505 Spirits. We're going to do a 3-hour set, which is really different from what we've been doing. And we haven't done that in a minute.
Someone came up to me at the gym today and was like, "Oh, you're the drummer. I'm gonna go watch you guys on my birthday at 505 Spirits, September 9th." Have we even announced that?
I don't know. I don't
Any-
think so.
That was.
I don't think so. Oh, maybe it's been on the like a post where
maybe have
we're
a
like
calendar
upcoming
or
shows.
something?
But September 9, like it's a 3-hour set. 3-hour set, like an hour of covers, an hour of us potentially playing for different people who want to come up and sing there. We'll play behind you if you want to sing a song or two. We'll play for
That
you.
could go real good or real bad, real quick.
That's the fun for it. You know, I think that's the fun part. We'll have some people in the pocket that we like. Come
Yeah,
up here. We know it's
right.
gonna be a good time. And then the third hour,
So Leroy's going to be there.
for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
If he's available, he's gonna be
Yeah.
there. Third hour is just original music.
Nice.
So
All right.
that's gonna be the next thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fucking 3 hours, folks.
Yep.
We made it.
Hell
we were like
yeah.
wondering if we were gonna make 3. I was like, do you have enough to talk about?
Yes, definitely.
I've completely let go of like time goals. I used to, because
Yeah.
obviously I fucking love listening and watching Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You know, but like I've had killer pods that went for an hour.
Yeah.
You know,
Defense.
and I've had some fucking episodes
Yeah.
that went for 2.5.
Yeah.
So you know, it is what it is. But this fucking flew by.
That was
I got a text and I saw that it was barely 10. I was like, how the fuck is it 10 o'clock at night right now?
Dude, I know.
Holy shit.
I know.
All right. Well, this
Thanks,
has been
man.
a fucking no. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
This
Thanks
has
for
been a
having us.
fucking
Yeah,
blast.
thank you.
Yeah.
And like I said, this drops on Saturday morning.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, thank you guys.
That's when I won't watch it because I hate hearing myself talk.
That is me.
Sam.
That is me fucking reviewing this shit and pulling clips. I'm like, "Bleh." Okay, guest, awesome, Bleh. And then guest again. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you guys
That
again.
was a journey, man.
You
We talked
guys-
about a lot of things.
Fuck yeah,
Jesus.
man.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
A lot of topics. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you guys. Holy shit.